What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty. Join my Discord if you want to chat and share your thoughts, the link is in the description. 6RG Chapter 151 The Dying Rox. Help Kadri's hearing Roger's order, the group of crew members stayed far away. It can be seen that almost all of the crew members are stained with countless blood. But most of the blood is not theirs, but their companions. During the siege of Rox, they had already witnessed the tragic deaths of countless comrades. At this time, they broke away from the battle with Rox. The body began to tremble involuntarily, fear. Many crew members sat on the ground with their butts on the ground, still in shock. Shit. Damn, is this guy Rox really human? 35. Our entire pirate group besieged Rox alone, but it cost us more than 70% of our companions. This guy is not a human at all, but a monster. Damn it, the tragic deaths of so many, 7 Sanchi, companions, we can only watch helplessly. Next, hand over the monster Rox to Captain Roger and the others. Looking ahead, Roger, Rayleigh, and Jabba continued to besiege the Rox. Their hearts are extremely complicated, fear, shock, and anger are constantly affecting their emotions. They knew that Rox was strong, but they didn't expect to be so powerful. As members of the Roger ship, each of them is battle-hardened and not afraid of death. But the killing intent that bloomed from Rox made them shudder. That terrifying force that rivaled the entire Roger regiment made them panic. Rox and Roger had another fierce confrontation. Boom! Rox's body slammed heavily on the ground of the Valley of the Gods. It can be seen that there are countless knife wounds on his body, and many of the wounds even have deep bones. Anyone with this kind of injury would have died long ago. Only Rox, with such severe injuries, remained conscious. Fight against the 3 of Roger's regiment. Rox stood up again from the ground, his eyes were full of fiery fighting intent, and he looked directly at Roger and said, "Advertisement, it was a hardy battle. Just, what are you kidding, you can still stand up." Rayleigh's forehead was startled with cold sweat, and his footsteps moved back a step unconsciously. You must know that the current Rox is full of injuries. Such a heavily wounded body, if it were someone else, I am afraid that they would have died several times. But Rox still stands at this time, and his body still exudes the momentum of ultimate terror. This guy is a complete monster. Roger frowned, staring at Rox. He thought that the body of Rox should have been lying down long ago. But Rox can still stand up, now. Even Roger was stunned by the aura emanating from Rox for a while. It's still a long way to kill me, just relying on you little brats. Rox stood on the spot holding the supreme knife, like a blood-soaked god of war, with the grandeur of a husband who is in charge of 1,000,000 people. He's just at the end of the game now. Jabba snorted coldly, pretending to be calm. Although he said so, Jabba was also shocked by the amazing momentum of Rox at this time. For a moment, none of Roger, Rayleigh, and Jabba dared to act rashly and attacked Rox. And the Rox, at this time, didn't set their sights on them either. But put it on Charlotte Linlin and Golden Lion not far away. Linlin, Shiki, you too. Do you want to continue watching? Rox said coldly. Although Rox was in the hands of the strong Roger regiment, they held on for a long time. But at this time, Rox also knew very well that he couldn't hold on for too long. Now he needs to rely on the Golden Lion and Charlotte Linlin's strength. With the help of these two, what is even the Roger regiment? I said Captain Rox. My opponent is Vice Admiral Garp of Naval Headquarters. Even if I wanted to help you, I couldn't spare my hand. Charlotte Linlin stood on the White Cloud Zeus, looking helplessly at Rox. Just kidding, help you? I wish I could let you die here today. How can I help you? Advertisement, Captain Rox. I also want to help you, but the Marines have been blocking me, and I can't help it. Golden Lion floated in the air, cigar in his mouth, and said lightly. Rox glanced at Charlotte Linlin lightly, and then put his eyes on the ordinary cadres of the Rox regiment. Johnny, Gorfiend, Onino, go and stop Garp. These 3 people are ordinary cadres of the Rox regiment. But the strength is not too weak, at least, can stop Garp in a short time. Yes, Captain Rox. The 3 ordinary cadres rushed towards Garp after receiving the order. Ordinary cadres of the Rox regiment, although many people have crooked thoughts. However, more ordinary cadres are still loyal to Rox. After all, they also knew that their talent was simply not enough to dominate the world. So I put my hope on Rox. I hope he can dominate the world. Then Rox ordered several other ordinary cadres to say, and you guys, stop Marine in front of Shiki for the time being. The reason Rox did not use the power of ordinary cadres. That's because these ordinary cadres can do it even if they come to assist him. It is impossible to change the outcome of this battle just by dragging the 3 Rogers. So he has to use the power of Charlotte Linlin and the Golden Lion, 4.3. Therefore, even at the cost of their lives, they would not let these 2 help Rox. The Rogers can definitely kill the Rox, and all we have to do is stop anyone from helping the Rox. 99. No, Charlotte Linlin and Golden Lion can't help the Rox, go and stop them. They knew exactly what kind of monsters Charlotte Linlin and Golden Lion were. Yes, Captain Rox. Other ordinary cadres of the Rox regiment rushed towards Marine in the direction of the Golden Lion. The Marine elite immediately shouted with enthusiasm. See the ordinary cadres of the Rox and go to assist the Golden Lion and Charlotte Linlin. Let us pay the price of our lives in this war, we must stop them both, Rox must die in the Valley of the Gods today. Chapter 152 The Rebellious Rox Corps Cadres. Quick, stop this group of Marines, make sure to let Captain Charlotte Linlin, Captain Shaki assist Captain Rox. Let's go together and stop this group of Marines. The final winner of this battle belongs to our Rox regiment. Captain Rox, we will definitely lead us to dominate the world in the future, and we will be able to enjoy endless glory and wealth, so we must work hard to stop this group of Marines. 99. Seeing a large number of Marine elites, they began to run in the direction of Charlotte Linlin and Golden Lion. The crew of the Rox regiment suddenly burst into flames and went to stop the group of Marines. At this time, a cold light flashed in Rox's eyes, staring at the two of them. So now, Linlin, Shaki, can you come and help me? Mama. Captain Rox, we really can't help you. Charlotte Linlin sat on the white cloud Zeus and smiled strangely. If Charlotte Linlin assisted the Rox, they would have beaten the Rogers for sure. But, 03. Charlotte Linlin doesn't want to do that. His purpose was to make Rox die in the Valley of the Gods. How could it be possible to assist Rox in such a critical situation? Hearing this, Rox immediately revealed endless killing intent, staring at Charlotte Linlin. What do you mean, Linlin? Although the Rox have been extremely disappointed with the cadres on board. However, when I heard Charlotte Linlin's words, it made Rox's heart sink to the bottom again. Endless anger and killing intent rose up in my heart. Gia ha. I said, Captain Rox, our purpose is to let you die here. Golden Lion laughed. If the Rox at this time are in their peak state, even if Golden Lion had 2 lives, he would not dare to say such words directly. But, now it's a person, and it can be seen that the Rox at this time are already at the end of the game. Under the siege of Roger's regiment, the Rox couldn't last long. Now let's not say the entire Roger regiment can kill Rox. Even the Golden Lion is sure to kill Rox in their current state. Because of this, Golden Lion was completely unafraid of Rox at this moment, and directly spoke his inner thoughts. Advertisement. Hearing Golden Lion's words, the Valley of the Gods, Marine who was fighting, and the pirates were immediately stunned. Everyone invariably stopped fighting and looked in the direction of the Golden Lion and Rox. What's the situation? Shaki, the leader of the Rox regiment, just seemed to have said that their captain was going to die here. Did you hear that too? There can be no mistake. I also heard just now that Shaki, the leader of the Rox regiment, said that he wanted to let Rox die here. What's going on? The cadres of the Rox regiment refused to assist the Rox. The many Marine elites on the battlefield of the Valley of the Gods peeped at each other. At first, all of them thought they had heard it wrong. But after discussion, they realized that they heard correctly. The Golden Lion really said, let Rox die here. If so, why are they trying so hard to stop Charlotte Linlin and Golden Lion? To be honest, the Marine elites on the field at this time were a little stunned. For some reason, Golden Lion suddenly said these words. Garp also looked at the Golden Lion and Charlotte Linlin with a puzzled look. Shaki, do you want me to kill you? Rox said with anger. Rox knew that the cadres on the ship had all sorts of intentions. He might have betrayed him again, but now the Golden Lion is so blatantly speaking out. No matter how much Rox restrained his emotions, he couldn't calm himself down at all. I advise you to save yourself, Captain Rox. Don't you understand the current situation on the battlefield? You are mortal? Golden Lion folded his arms across his chest and said calmly. Captain Rox, we are indeed very grateful that you led us to make a fortune, but unfortunately, your goal is the same as ours, so you can only die here. John also jumped out at this time. Road. The main cadres of their group, the purpose of joining the Rox regiment back then. It is because the Rox promises that they will make a fortune with them. But, with the gradual expansion of Rox ambitions, when the delusional desire to dominate the world. Advertisement. This group of cadres gradually distanced themselves from Rox. After all, their ultimate goal of making a fortune is to become a world hegemon. So, how could they be willing to help others become world domination? Captain Rox, you can only blame your existence, blocking our way to become the world's hegemon, otherwise we won't let you die here, Silver Axe said. No matter how vicious they are, Rox has led them to make a fortune after all. So, if Rox's goal is not to dominate the world, after all, they wouldn't let Rox die. But alas, they are in line with the Rox goal of 737. And Rox's strength is too terrifying. They know very well that when Rox is alive, all their pirates are absolutely impossible to dominate the world. Hear the indifferent answers from many cadres. Rox lost his mind for a while. Anger, helplessness, despair, all kinds of emotions lingered in his mind. Looking at this group of once familiar subordinates and their idly faces, Rox laughed wildly. Ha ha ha. Lousy has been in the sea for so many years, but finally ended up like this? He is unwilling now, but extremely helpless. Because, at present, he is about to die, but no one is willing to help him. He was isolated and abandoned by the entire Rox cadre. Looking back on his life, he is the absolute world leader over the entire sea. In front of him, who would dare to say a word? Who dares to disobey his orders? Is there anyone in this world that he cannot kill? He didn't put anyone in this sea in his eyes, he just wanted to go the way to dominate the world. But now, the road he took has come to an end. His dream was completely shattered in this valley of the gods. After a wild laugh, Rox set his sights on Air, who was fighting Kong at the end of the horizon. Chapter 153. Let's take the fate of death. When Air was on the ship, Rox made a condition to him for the purpose of teaching Air. That is, before the Rox group disbands, we must fight for him with all our strength. Also Rox know that Air is a very committed man. If he ordered Air to assist him now, then Air would definitely try his best to come over. But, now the Rox have no idea of ordering Air. Because once Air came to assist him, it is very likely that Golden Lion and others would not let Air go. Although Rox wants to embark on the road to dominate the world, he does not regard anyone as a friend or companion. But in this Valley of the Gods battle, Air kept his promise and fought for him with all his might. Let Rox also feel, so now he doesn't want to drag Air into the water. Since the road to domination of the world has been shattered, let us bear the fate of death by ourselves. Ha ha ha. Rox, it seems that welcoming your ending today is a mortal fate. Although Roger is not very clear why the Rox will turn against the ship's cadres. However, everything is indifferent, because now they can completely kill Rox. Mortal fate. So what? Rox said with a contemptuous smile on his face. Even though he was about to die at the hands of Roger and others, Rox never took the Roger Pirates seriously. Likewise, the arrogant he will not just let him go. On this sea, I have never seen a few people who are full of fearlessness when facing death. I respect you, Rox. This is the last battle between us. Let me fight with you alone. The smile on Roger's face disappeared, replaced by respect. Rox are enemies of their Roger regiment though. Also, Roger knows exactly what kind of charm Rox has. Such a man, even if he wants to die, can't die under the gang fight. Roger decided to fight Rox alone from now on. Don't underestimate Rox, Roger. This guy is a total monster. Even with this seriously injured body, no one can tell if he still has any trump cards. 35. Rayleigh heard that Roger was going to fight the Rox alone. His face changed slightly, and he quickly reminded him. The Rox were devastated some time ago, under the siege of their entire Roger regiment. Advertisement. But until now, the Rox have not fallen. Rox's body structure, in Rayleigh's opinion, is not at all what a normal person should be. His physical strength is even beyond the range that a monster should have. Now Rayleigh is worried about what kind of cards the Rox have. If Roger is one-on-one with one, then maybe he will be killed. Yeah, Roger, this guy is going to die anyway, regardless of whether he respects him or not. Killing him as soon as possible and our purpose of coming to the Valley of God today can be considered complete. Jabba also reminded worriedly at this time. Needless to say, Rayleigh, Jabba, I have already decided. Roger glanced at the two with a serious look. Hearing this, Rayleigh and Jabba took a deep look at the Rox in front of them. Though I still want to go on talking, organize Rox one-on-one with Roger. But equally, the two of them knew exactly what Roger's temper was like. What he decides cannot be changed by anyone, so they continued to persuade, certainly to no avail. Rayleigh and Jabba withdrew from the battle and came to the side to watch the battle. You're going to kill me, kid. Rox grinned, looking directly at Roger. Really? I don't think so. Roger said calmly. Ha ha ha. Then try it, arrogant guy. Rox's words fell. Holding the supreme knife, wrapped in armor color and Conqueror's hockey, he charged directly towards Roger. At this time, Roger is also full of fearlessness, and the blade is also wrapped with armed color and Conqueror's hockey. The figures of the two are approaching very fast. Boom! Before the blades of the two collided, there was a violent explosion. Although Roger also masters the power of Conqueror's entanglement. But his Conqueror's is one level weaker than Rox. But the Rox didn't have the upper hand in the one-on-one with Roger. Not for other reasons. It is because his physical strength and hockey are almost exhausted, and at this time he is already seriously injured and dying. Advertisement. Boom bang bang. The two fought for only a moment, and on the ground level in a radius of several hundred meters, the buildings were completely destroyed by the two. This battle has also been watched by countless people, and everyone is waiting for the victory of this battle. God avoid. Roger holds a knife in one hand, and the blade is wrapped in a rich two-color hockey. I saw the blue veins in his arms suddenly appear, pouring all the strength of the whole body into this knife, and the terrifying momentum showed from Roger. Shoo! A slash that was enough to tear apart the sky attacked the Rox. Rox roared and used all his strength to resist the blow. If Rox is at his peak at this time, then he can easily defend against this attack. But, unfortunately, his injury was too serious. There is absolutely no way to defend against such an attack by Roger. Zitsa. Roger's evasion knocked the blade in Rox's hands into the air, although there was a ferocious knife mark deep visible to the bone on his body. Peefed. Rox vomited blood, his vision blurred, and he was half kneeling. At this time, he was still completely incompetent. Roger stepped closer to Rox and said solemnly, "Jiao hao jiao. It's over, Rox. Ha ha ha. Although I lost, I have cultivated a monster that none of you can defeat, that's Air Song. The future ruler of this sea is named Air. The future belongs to the era of Air." Rox laughed horribly. At that time, Rox thought that he was the one who could eventually become the hegemon. "Really, I don't think so," Roger said slowly. Rox knew that his fate was coming to an end, but there was no trace of fear on his face. Instead, a trace of a smile appeared on his face. The words spoken by the O'Hara scholar who had read the prophecy on the Celestial Dragon's battleship. "Roger, even if you kill me, the future masters of this sea are not you. Someone from the Rox group will become the world hegemon in the future." Before dying, Rox recalled. Chapter 154 The Fall of Rox, the Passing of an Era. But now it seems that the person in the prophecy is not him. If that's the case, then, in the eyes of Rox, only Air can become the world's hegemon. Since Air's strength has not grown up, he has watched him become stronger. Therefore, he knows best what kind of talent and strength Air possesses. Because although he lost, Air has not lost. Air. This monster was personally cultivated by his Rox group. In the future, the whole sea will surely cause a bloody storm. Air's strength is indeed very strong, but no matter how strong he is only one person, and the future era does not belong to him, Roger said indifferently. Air's strength is so powerful that Roger has personally come into contact with it a long time ago. That kind of terrifying strength can even be comparable to his battle. But, after all, Air is only one person now, and they are the whole pirate group. No matter how amazing Air grows in the future, Roger is not afraid. After all, in the case of joining forces with Rayleigh, Jabba, they are no one afraid of the sea. Including Air. Ha ha ha. Then just wait and see, Roger. Rox laughed grimly. Roger slowly came to the front of Rox's body 737, raised the supreme knife and said calmly. "A dying man can't decide the future ruler of this sea, Rox." Shoo. When the words fell, Roger raised his knife and cut off Rox's head directly. The overlord of the new world, the strongest man of the old era, and the most vicious pirate Rox have fallen. Rox's life is full of legends. At a young age, he became the captain of one of the best pirates in the New World. He even recruited countless cadres to serve him. Throughout his life, Rox has been preparing for world domination. But, in the end, his goal was not achieved, but completely fell in the Valley of God. Lo! Rox is dead. Advertisement, damn Rox, who killed us Marshall Brownie, and now finally in the Valley of the Gods. The monster Rox died, this time the Battle of the Valley of the Gods, we Marine will win. Let's go together and kill this group of pirates. Many Marine elites were extremely excited when they saw the death of Rox. Throughout the Valley of the Gods, Marines' cheering shouts were heard. After all, this time they were Marine and the Rox regiment face to face. The biggest purpose is to kill Rox. Now, the Valley of the Gods war has been going on for so long, they finally saw the Rox fall. Golden Lion, who had been watching this scene, laughed when he saw Rox die. Gia ha ha ha. Captain Rox, is he finally killed? Mama, finally dead, Captain Rox. It doesn't seem like we're going to kill you personally now. Charlotte Linlin grinned mischievously. She had already thought about it. If no one could kill Rox in this Valley of the Gods, then it will be her own shot to kill Rox. But now that Rox is dead, it's not like she's going to spend her time backstabbing Rox. Ha ha ha. Captain Rox, after you die, this sea is our world. Silver Axe laughed horribly. Rox definitely has the terrifying power to rule the world, if all the cadres on board are loyal to Rox. Then he really has a high probability that he will be able to rule the world in the future. But unfortunately, Rox has the ambition to dominate the world. The same goes for other cadres. whether it is Silver Axe or Golden Lion et al. All of them, like the Rox, have world domination ambitions. Finally died in the Valley of the Gods, Captain Rox, since that's the case for your treasure, let me take it all. John looked at Rox's corpse, licked his lips greedily, and said inwardly. In the entire Rox group, only John knows where the Rox treasure is hidden. Now that Rox is dead, it means that he can accept all the treasures stored by Rox. The death of Rox. Not only did Marine get excited, but even the cadres of the Rox regiment got excited too. Advertisement, Edward, your captain has died in the Valley of the Gods, the next one is your cadres, Sengoku yelled while attacking Whitebeard. Gu la la la. Captain Rox died, but that doesn't mean that we will also die in the Valley of the Gods, Whitebeard said calmly. Although Whitebeard did not have the idea of backstabbing Rox, at the same time this time the Valley of the Gods war. Like Air, he's doing his best for the Rox, but when Rox died, Whitebeard was at ease. After all, the fall of Rox means that he is free. Whitebeard has made up his mind now, after leaving the Rox. He wants to create a pirate group of his own and find the family he wants. Do you think you can leave alive today? Sengoku snorted coldly. It's not that easy to keep me, Sengoku. The words fell, and Whitebeard wrapped a layer of shockfruit's power from the cloud. Boom. Whitebeard held the Kong cloud cut in both hands and smashed it towards the space in front of him with all his strength. It can be seen that the cloud cutting tip is after touching the space. The space that could not be touched was directly fractured, and countless dense cracks appeared. The next moment, the shattered space turned into a terrifying impact. Tear apart the earth at high speed, destroy space, and attack Sengoku with overwhelming force. Buddha's angry palms. At this time, Sengoku had already entered the form of the devil fruit able-bodied Buddha. With Sengoku's light slam, a layer of white balls visible to the naked eye was wrapped around his fists. A collision resounded through the sky, spreading in all directions, and the huge Valley of the Gods was shocked. There are countless rifts. The next moment, Sengoku's palms out, and together they formed an extremely terrifying impact. Boom. There are even some rifts whose depths are just a step away from touching the sea. The moves of the two quickly collided. The incomparably terrifying impact, with the momentum of destroying the world, rushed towards Whitebeard. The moves of the two have a wide range of terrifying lethality. It can be seen that the ground plane around the two has long been damaged. Chapter 155 Ochaku's 6th, want to do a sneak attack? I believe you are running out of physical strength now, Edward, how long can you hold on to me? Sengoku stared at Whitebeard indifferently. The previous Whitebeard, because of beheading the captain of the CPO organization Daros. His own consumption is not small, and now he has been fighting for such a long time. Sengoku is very clear that at this time Whitebeard is a little out of physical strength. It's enough to beat you Sengoku, Whitebeard said calmly. Then let me see, you can be brave enough, when? Sengoku didn't say much nonsense, and charged directly towards Whitebeard. The two had a fierce confrontation once again. Meanwhile, on the other side. Is it dead, Captain Rox? Air stood on top of Susanoo's head, and glanced at the center of the Valley of the Gods. Although it is said that because the battlefield is too far away, he does not know the battle situation in the central position. But even far apart, he could hear the Marines all over the Valley of the Gods chanting the news of Rox's death. Ha ha ha. Your captain is dead, Air, Kong laughed. The battle of the Valley of the Gods has passed for some time. Now, the Marine finally got a big harvest, beheading the Rox. Although it was not killed by the Marine himself. But as long as the Rox are dead, that's good for their Marines. It seems that the battle on our side is also over. Air glanced at Kong indifferently and said lightly. When he fought Kong. Through the perception of observation hockey, there are several other killing intents. According to his observations, it was none other than Silver Axe, Ochaku, and John who had murdered him. So, now he needs to get rid of Kong quickly, if time is dragged down by Kong again. When his physical strength is exhausted, John, Silver Axe, and Ochaku will most likely attack him. On weekdays, he didn't take John, Silver Axe, and Ochaku too seriously. But, if the three of them join forces, it will be a little tricky. Not to mention, he is not at his peak now, and his physical hockey consumption is not low. So now he must fight Kong quickly. Advertisement can't consume too much stamina and hockey. And, I thought so too, Air, you're probably running out of physical strength now, Kong grinned. The power of Susanoo is completely terrifying. Kong has seen it deeply. But, at the same time, he knew very well that such a terrifying move would consume a lot of physical strength. It's been a while since Air released the complete Susanoo. He believed that Air's stamina was running out now. When Air's stamina is completely exhausted, then it's time for him to win. Aren't you? Air said calmly. Release the full body Susanoo, and continue to fight. It is determined that the physical consumption of air is very high. But, don't forget, air's sage body has reached full level. His physical skills belong to the top ranks in the entire pirate world. Today, he still has some physical strength. As for Kong, to be able to last so long under his full body Susanoo is almost the end of the shot. Then let's see, who of the two of us can stand at the end. Kong snorted coldly, his footsteps burst, and he took the initiative to charge towards air to attack him. It's time to give you the final blow, Kong, the original air. Although it was because Haki was exhausted, he started to use the power of the full body Susanoo. However, air's Haki is also recovering bit by bit during the fight against Kong. Some Haki has now been recovered. Double sword flow, destroy the world. Air controls the armed color and conquerors Haki in his body. Wrap it around the full body Susanoo's dual knives. On top of Susanoo's two katana swords, a layer of dark black paint that is visible to the naked eye slowly wraps around. It's the armament color and conquerors Haki. This is Haki. Kong saw the scene in front of him, his pupils contracted violently. Damn, isn't air's Haki exhausted? Advertisement 0. Ask for flowers. How can it still be used now, and Haki can be wrapped around a large sword dozens of meters long? Could it be his Haki has recovered some? Thinking of this possibility, Kong's face became extremely serious. Although it is said that Haki is different from physical strength, the speed of recovery will be slightly faster. But like air, Haki was almost depleted for just a while. It's the first time I've seen so many Hakis, Kong. Shish. Air manipulated the full body Susanoo, waved the two giant samurai swords in his hand, and slashed towards Kong with all his strength. The perfect Susanoo has the power to destroy the world. After entwined with armor color and conqueror's Haki, the power is increased several times. Boom. The entire Valley of the Gods shook violently, as if a big earthquake had occurred. A bottomless rift appeared directly on the ground in front of air's eyes. The power of the two knives could be seen as a Madara. Crash. Endless sea water surges up from the bottom of the Valley of the Gods. The complete body Susanoo of the Valley of the Gods was manipulated by air, and it was split open. This scene directly shocked all the powerhouses in the Valley of God. Damn it. The Valley of God was split open again. This guy's strength is too terrifying. He even split the Valley of Gods. Wait a minute. Kong Admiral is gone. What? Prepare to dive into the deep sea and salvage Kong Chi. Although, Kong is not a demon fruit power. Kong Admiral, damn, could it be that he was defeated by air and sank into the sea? Quick, let's go save Kong Admiral. However, if Kong is stunned by air. Many marine elites were first surprised that air split the Valley of the Gods. Only then did it realize that Kong was sunk to the sea by air. If he sinks into the sea, he will only be left with a dead end. Countless marines rushed towards the location where the seawater was pouring into the Rift Valley of the Gods. Chapter 156 Crisis, Marine Double Admiral attacks the other side. Golden Lion crossed his arms in front of his chest and stared at air with some surprise. Did you beat Kong? Air, you beat D. You're a monster. It can be said that the most amazing two people in this Valley of the Gods battle are Rox and Air. One-on-one, the Rox killed Marshal Marine Brownie. Afterwards, under the siege of the entire Roger Regiment, bloody battles were fought. And Air first easily defeated Vice Admiral Zephyr of Naval Headquarters. Then, with terrifying combat power, he defeated the Admiral of Headquarters, Kong. Mamama. Garp, your Kong Admiral has been defeated by Air. 5. Charlotte Linlin sneered at the battlefield while fighting Garp. It has to be said that Charlotte Linlin was quite surprised by the combat power of 737, Air. After all, Kong is the Admiral of Naval Headquarters, the highest fighting force. Such a man was defeated by Air. Damn Air. Garp clenched his fists and glanced at Air with a slightly grim look. Kong's strength, Garp can't be more clear. Even Garp never thought that such a man would be defeated by Air. However, now he can't handle Air either. After all, Charlotte Linlin, the opponent, is too difficult to deal with. Although he wanted to get rid of Charlotte Linlin as soon as possible, the opponent kept avoiding him. Rarely confronts it head-on. The other side. Gu la la la, Sengoku, you Marines have lost another strong man. Whitebeard laughed. Kong won't die at Air's hands. Sengoku snorted coldly. It now appears that Kong has indeed lost to Air, but Sengoku doesn't believe that Kong will die at the hands of Air. But he lost, didn't he, Sengoku? Whitebeard sneered. Whitebeard doesn't know whether Kong is dead or not, but Kong's defeat is a fact. Shut up, Edward. Sengoku snorted coldly. Advertisement. Once again, they launched a fierce attack towards Whitebeard. John asked Silver Axe beside him. Ochaku, want to F*K? Kill Air? Although Air successfully beheaded Kong, John could see it at this time. Air's stamina, as well as Hoki's, is very draining. He felt that it was time to attack Air and kill Air in this Valley of the Gods. Don't worry, in this state, even Admiral of Naval Headquarters can defeat him. Even if he wants to go up, he has to wait for him to exit this state. Silver Axe shook his head slightly. Silver Axe has been keeping an eye on what's going on Air's side. Therefore, he is very clear how terrible the Susanoo released by Air is. Even Admiral at Naval Headquarters can beat. If they attacked Air rashly, I'm afraid they will suffer a little loss. As long as he doesn't have enough physical strength to support this state, that's his time of death. Ochaku stared at Air with both eyes, with endless killing intent in his eyes. When Rox died, the Rox group was disbanded, but they weren't just content with Rox's death. They want Air to fall in the Valley of the Gods too. As long as Air also dies in this place, then the future sea is definitely their world. Looking at the huge rift in front of him and Kong, which has sunk into the deep sea, Air couldn't help smacking his tongue. Tisk. The amount of stamina and Hoki consumed is more than I thought. 35. Although Air is only on the edge of the full-body Susanoo. Wrapped in armor color and Conqueror's Hoki, they launched an attack. But, because the samurai sword is too large, the consumption of Hoki is also huge. Today's Air suddenly feels as if his body has been hollowed out. The Hoki that had been restored were almost completely exhausted at this time. However, the ending is still good, at least defeating Kong. Air. In the battlefield, a loud roar suddenly came. I saw the Black Bat Admiral and Zhenwu Admiral quickly approaching Air. The opponents of the two of them were supposed to be other cadres of the Rox regiment. However, when they saw Air's strength, they decided to quickly eliminate Air in the shortest possible time. Advertisement then go to deal with other cadres 0. Air's strength, they have deeply seen in this battlefield. They knew that if Air left alive today, then in the future he will definitely become a monster above Rox. 2 admirals. Air frowned slightly, staring at the 2 Marine admirals who kept approaching him. Although it is said that the strength of Black Bat Admiral and Zhenwu Admiral is a lot worse than Kong. But, whatever it is, the 2 of them are also the highest combat power of Naval Headquarters. Today's Air, because he defeated Zephyr before, and then defeated Kong, now he is very physically exhausted. If the 2 admiral attack him together, then he may not be able to bear it. Watching the 2 Marine admirals approach. At this time, Air is also in high spirits, ready to fight. Suddenly Roger, Rayleigh and Jabba appeared in front of Air. Stopped Zhenwu Admiral and Black Bat Admiral. Hey, Roger, what do you mean? Zhenwu Admiral's expression changed slightly and he said coldly. Get out of the way, Roger, don't forget that we Marine and you Roger Pirates are allies, Admiral the Black Bat said coldly. The Roger regiment suddenly stopped in front of them, making them feel bad. Although Roger, Rayleigh, Jabba beheaded Rox, it cost a lot. However, the 2 of them had the same physical strength due to the confrontation with the Cadre 4.3 of the Rox regiment, and Hoki consumed a lot. If at this time, the 3 aces of the Roger regiment are confronted, the 2 have no chance of winning. It was indeed an alliance before, but not anymore. Rayleigh said calmly with a smile on the corner of his mouth. Forget what I said before I came. Our goal is just Rox, Roger said slowly. Upon reaching the Valley of the Gods, Kong asked to join forces with Roger to deal with Air. Was rejected by Roger and responded that the goal of their Roger regiment was just Rox. From the very beginning, their Roger regiment had no intention of attacking the other cadres of the Rox regiment. All they want is for Rox to die in the Valley of the Gods. Now that the Rox are dead, their alliance with Marine is over. Chapter 157 Air. I laughed, kill me first after all. Roger is also a pirate, and if he helps Marine weaken the pirates' combat power. In the future, not only will they have to bear a huge infamy, but also the reduction of the pirate power. This will cause the power of the sea to become unbalanced, with Marine taking the lead. This is not a good thing for them pirates, and it is also not what Roger wants to see. Plus, now helps Air with Marine. Wouldn't it make monsters like Air owe them a favor to the Roger regiment? How could Roger let go of such a profitable business? Are you sure you want to stand in front of us, Roger? Zhenwu Admiral's eyes gleamed, killing intent revealed. If there is such a threat, it's better to save your real martial arts. If I help you deal with the cadres of the Rox regiment today, your Marines will not let our Roger regiment go in the future, won't you? Roger said calmly. Rather than helping Marine deal with Air, reducing the power of the pirates is thankless. Might as well help Air to deal with Marine, which will reduce Marine's power. In the future, their Roger regiment can also be more free on the sea, and let Air owe them a favor. These 2 choices, as long as O3 is a normal person, will choose the second one to help Air. Then you Roger Pirates also fall into the Valley of the Gods, the Black Bat Admiral roared. Although I've been through a fight just now, I want to take a break now, but I'm really interested in Marine Admiral's strength, Rayleigh said with a smile on the corner of his mouth. If these two admirals can be killed, Marine will not pose much of a threat to our Roger Pirates, Jabba followed suit. If only Zhenwu Admiral and Black Bat Admiral could fall in the Valley of Gods today. So it means that in this battle of the Valley of the Gods, Marine directly lost 3 top combat powers. The 3 top combat powers of Brownie, Zhenwu, and Black Bat are missing. Marine's actions in the future will no doubt be filled with apprehension. In this way, their Roger Pirates really don't have much threat in this sea. Just a few of you want to kill us. With words, Zhenwu Admiral launched an offensive directly towards Roger, Rayleigh, and Jabba. Similarly, the Black Bat Admiral did not retain his strength at all and attacked the 3. Air, don't forget today's favor. While fighting against Admiral Zhenwu and Admiral the Black Bat, Roger did not forget to remind Air. Compared to letting the monster Air fall in the Valley of the Gods, Roger is more looking forward to the confrontation with Air in the future. After all, he is full of confidence in his own strength and talent. Of course I don't believe what Rox said, the future world ruler is Air. Because the future of this sea belongs to their Roger Pirates. Thanks then, Roger. Advertisement Air nodded, then exited his full Susano state. Although a perfect Susano has wings and can fly. But in fact, Air's physical strength has almost bottomed out. Just now, he didn't even have the physical strength to fly a full-body Susano. I have to say, Kong's strength is really scary enough. Can hit his hockey and physical strength to the bottom. After exiting the full-body Susano state, Air's Sage Body is constantly restoring its physical strength. You must know that Air's Sage Body is now at full level, and the recovery speed is also extremely fast. Just when Air thought it was time to take a break, suddenly he observation hockey, sensed 3 fierce killing intent. Air. Go to hell Air. 35. Not only will Captain Rox die here today, but you will also die in the Valley of the Gods. I saw that John, Ochaku, and Silver Axe charged towards Air from the same direction, armed with weapons. John, Silver Axe, Ochaku the 3 keep trying to kill Air. They have been waiting for an opportunity, waiting for a chance for Air to go from full Susano to normal. Now, they have been waiting for it. So the 3 of them joined forces without hesitation and rushed towards Air. I want Air to fall in this Valley of the Gods too. Damn, did you really want to kill me in the Valley of the Gods? Air frowned slightly. Originally, during the confrontation with Kong, he noticed that these 3 people had a strong killing intent towards him. Unexpectedly, as soon as he was released from the complete Susano state, these 3 people directly killed him. Choke. Air suddenly pulled out the Demon Slayer from his waist, ready to fight. Although it is said that his physical strength is very high, he cannot continue to enter the state of full Susano. However, in his normal state, he can still fight for a while. Along with Silver Axe, Ochaku, and John, the 3 figures kept approaching. Suddenly, 3 voices came from a distance. Advertisement. Lions, 1000 Slice Valley, Thunder 8 trigrams. Powerful country. 99, empty shock. 4 terrifying forces came from a distance and attacked John, Silver Axe, and Ochaku. Boom. Before the 3 of John could approach Air, they were attacked by these 4 attacks, and a violent explosion occurred at the scene. A thick smoke and dust filled the sky, as well as a huge deep pit. Huh? 99 seeing this scene, even Air was stunned. Originally, he was ready to face the 3, but he didn't expect it. At this critical moment, Golden Lion, Charlotte Linlin, Kaido, Whitebeard will help him deal with John and the others. This scene surprised him. John stood up from the big pit and roared at the 4. Shiki, Kaido, Linlin, Edward, what do you 4 want to do? John chapter 737 didn't think about it when they wanted to kill Air. Golden Lion, Kaido, Charlotte Linlin, Whitebeard stepped forward and attacked them from a distance. What do you 4 mean? Are you trying to stop us? Silver Axe said coldly. You should also be well aware that Air's talent is even more terrifying than Captain Rox. If such a man leaves the Valley of God alive, all of us will face a monster-like enemy in the future. Ochaku stared at the 3 of them, Shen said. Jia ha ha ha. Of course I know this kind of thing, but I owe Air a favor, and naturally I can't let you kill him in the Valley of the Gods. Golden Lion folded his hands on his chest and laughed, Road. Although the Golden Lion has a huge ambition to rule the world. For this favor, the Golden Lion has always remembered it to this day. Although Air didn't want to save him at the time. But, it was an indirect way to save Golden Lion's life. In the Battle of the Hive Island that year, if it weren't for Air's extremely strong combat power against Marine. But at the same time, he is also a man of gratitude. But in this Valley of the Gods, the Golden Lion will definitely not let John and others kill Air. Leaving the Valley of the Gods, Air's life or death, the Golden Lion doesn't care. Otherwise, at that time, they would have all died on the Beehive Island. Now, so it's time to repay the favor. Chapter 158 The Talk of the Five Elders. Mamama. In the Valley of the Gods, I advise you not to pay attention to him. John, Silver Axe, Ochaku. Charlotte Linlin laughed mischievously. Only I can defeat this opponent of Air, surpass. If you want to fight, let me be your opponent. Kaido stared at the three with a mace on his shoulder. How could I let you kill my only friend? Whitebeard snorted coldly. The sea is not about fighting and killing, but the world. This point, Golden Lion, Charlotte Linlin, Kaido, Whitebeard can be said to have played to understand. You guys. John's eyes were split, and his eyes were staring at the four of them. Then he glanced at Air a little unwillingly. Today's Air, physical strength, and hockey are almost completely exhausted. I am afraid that if only he is alone, he can destroy it. But, unfortunately, because Charlotte Linlin, Golden Lion, Kaido blocked the reason. They couldn't kill Air at all. You bastards, you will regret the decision to stop us today, Silver Axe said coldly. Don't regret it later. It's not up to you, Silver Axe, Golden Lion said calmly. I have warned you, Silver Axe. I hope you don't know what's wrong. Charlotte Linlin stared at Silver Axe with murderous eyes. Damn it. Silver Axe whispered. Ochaku glanced at Air a little unwillingly, and then reminded him. Forget it, before the Valley of the Gods sinks into the sea, let's go look for Uranus. Because Genwu Admiral and the Black Bat Admiral have been restrained by Roger, Rayleigh, and Jabba. Today's John, Ochaku, and Silver Axe have no rivals in the Valley of the Gods. And there's no way to get rid of Air right now, so it's time to stay where he is. Why don't you look for an ancient weapon, Uranus? Silver Axe and John didn't reject Ochaku's proposal, but glanced at Air with their murderous eyes. Just leave. Seeing John and the others leave, Air also inserted the blade back into the scabbard. If you want to say thank you, there's no need for Air, we just do it to repay the favor, Charlotte Linlin said flatly. If it weren't for the Battle of the Hive Island that year, Air indirectly saved them all. Otherwise, the current Charlotte Linlin would just watch Air get attacked and die. Advertisement, Air, sooner or later, I will kill you with my own hands, Kaido yelled at Air. Kill me? Air smiled. I'm waiting for you, Kaido. Kaido's strength is indeed not weak, and the upper limit in the future is also extremely high. However, Air didn't take this ceiling too seriously. Gu la la la. Air, when this fight is over, have a good drink, Whitebeard laughed. Certainly, although there has been such a small episode. But the war in the Valley of the Gods is not over yet. Some are fighting, while others are looking for ancient weapons. And Air did not continue to fight, but found a ruin to restore his strength in hockey. A tragic battle is taking place in the Valley of the Gods. Meanwhile, the Holy Land Marijoy inside the highest hall. Five elders come together. After all, the Valley of the Gods war has been going on for some time. I believe that the cadres of the Rox regiment should have suffered countless casualties. 5. The blonde old man looked at Erlang's legs and sat on the sofa, sipping coffee while speaking. This time in the Battle of the Valley of the Gods, not only the top forces of the naval headquarters will come out. At the same time, the Roger Pirates and the Walled Pirates also agreed to join forces with us to deal with the Rox. In this battle, it is very difficult for us not to win. The long straight-haired old man stroked his beard with a smile on his face. The Rox group is indeed innumerable, especially the Rox and Air. It has extremely terrifying combat power. But Marine is not a vegetarian. Marine, who has all the top combat power, has a fighting force with the entire Rox group. What's more, also added Darrow's, Roger Pirates, Walled Pirates. No matter what they think, it is absolutely impossible to imagine that Marine's side will lose this battle in the Valley of the Gods. According to our order, we need to let Marine focus on Rox and Air. If nothing else happens, these two guys should have died in the Valley of the Gods. Rox group, although there are countless strong. But in the eyes of the five elders, the two most threatening are Rox and Air. During this period, Rox had the top combat power that surpassed the entire sea. And Air, although the combat power of this period is not as amazing as Rox. Advertisement, but his talent is definitely beyond everyone in this sea. In this battle, their main purpose is to let these two die in the Valley of God. With so many strong men in the Valley of God to deal with the Rox group together, let alone Rox and Air, Edward Newgate, Shiki, Charlotte Linlin, John, Silver Axe, Ochaku, Kaido and other cadres will all fall to God. Valley. After this battle of the Valley of the Gods, the entire Rox regiment will definitely cease to exist. The Rox group, which has given us a headache for a while, is finally about to die. the old man with a knife said with a smile on the corner of his mouth. The old man in a black suit looked at Erlang's legs and asked the few people around him. Speaking of which, after the collapse of the Rox regiment, what should we do about the situation in the sea? Although the Valley of the Gods has not yet come, Marines good news and good news. However, the five of them all agreed that the entire Rox group had been destroyed. After the destruction of the Rox group, there are not many big pirates left in the New World, so let them develop their own for the time being. The old man with a scar on his head suggested. Their world government and Marines group of combat power. If you think about it, you are completely qualified to destroy the big pirates of the entire New World. But they didn't do that. That's because they didn't want to kill pirates all over the world. Because pirates are inexhaustible, after killing one, it won't be long before the second will appear. At the same time, if all the pirates in the New World are wiped out. There is another puzzle. Jiao Haojiao. That is, the countries that join the New World will no longer hand over the heavenly gold to their world government. The reason why New World has countless allied countries, every year to the world government to hand over the heavenly gold, in order to obtain asylum. It is precisely because the number of pirates in New World is too large and too ferocious. If there is no danger, do the allied countries still need to hand over the heavenly gold to seek asylum? Just want to maintain the balance of power between New World pirates and Marine. But if all the New World pirates are killed, is New World still dangerous? But they almost never left the holy place of Marijoy to interfere with the balance of this sea by force. In order to protect the kingdom, that country had to hand over the Tianshan gold to the world government. You know, gold in the sky is an astronomical sum. If there is no danger, that king will be free to spend a lot of money and hand over the heavenly gold to the world government. So they even have a top-notch combat power. It is precisely because they do not want to completely wipe out the big pirates of the New World. Chapter 159 The Fall of Admiral, New World Shuffle. This is a good proposal. The Rox group is completely destroyed, and there is no need to continue killing other pirates. The blonde old man agreed. Although the Rox group has not been destroyed, but now, they have discussed their plans after the Rox are destroyed. Let's just wait in silence for now, the Marines will bring us good news. Another time later. Valley of the Gods, on a certain battlefield. Ha ha ha. It's over, Zhenwu, Black Bat. It was accompanied by a roar of laughter from Roger. Roger, Rayleigh, and Jabba waved their weapons at the same time. Kill the true martial artist Admiral and the Black Bat Admiral. Zhenwu Admiral was at the peak of his strength when he fought on the Hive Island. Now that so long has passed, Zhenwu Admiral's strength has long since declined. As for the Black Bat, although he was an admiral who was recruited by the naval headquarters through the world conscription. But his strength is not that amazing. It can be said that the two are now sitting on the title of Marine Admiral. But their strength is not worthy of the highest combat power of naval headquarters. It was only because Marine's combat power was vacant at 737 that the two of them sat in this position. This is why Kong is known as the strongest admiral in naval headquarters. If the three are of equal strength, how could Kong get such a title? Really, Zhenwu Admiral and Black Bat Admiral are also dead. 35. What a joke, one Rox died on the pirates' side, and 4 top powerhouses died on our side. What should we do? We are no longer enough to fight against these monsters. Seeing the death of Admiral Zhenwu and Admiral the Black Bat, and the Marine elite who were still on the island, they immediately panicked to the extreme. In this Valley of the Gods battle, on their Marine side, dead Brownie, Darrows, Zhenwu, and Black Bat. Only Garp, Sengoku, Zephyr, Crane, and Kong are the 5 top fighting forces still alive. Zephyr was defeated by Air before, but after being in a coma for a while, he woke up again and continued to fight. Advertisement Kong, though defeated by Air, fell into a coma. However, it has been salvaged and there is no danger to life. As for the pirates, except for the death of Rox, Air, White, Added, Beard, Golden Lion, Charlotte Linlin, Kaido, John, Silver Axe, Ochaku, Roger, Rayleigh, Jabba all survive. Looking at the many strong pirates present, how could they not panic? The title of these two guys Admiral is really just a name, not even Garp, Jabba commented aloud as he put away his weapons. You know, Roger, Rayleigh, and Jabba were before the 2 admirals. But there was a bloody battle with the Rox. Even so, the 3 of them were still able to kill 2 admirals without a single casualty. On the one hand, the strength of these 2 admirals is not amazing. In addition, even if the 2 of them joined forces, there was no tacit understanding at all. The tacit understanding of joining forces with the 3 of them is a lot worse. Roger, after this battle, our Roger pirates will become famous all over the world. Rayleigh looked at the 2 admiral corpses in front of him, and said with a smile on the corner of his mouth. The 3 of them first beheaded Rox in the Valley of the Gods. And then beheaded 2 more admiral. Such a luxurious record is enough to make their name spread all over the world again. This sea is already owned by our Roger Pirates. Roger's mouth rose slightly and smiled. The Roger Pirates themselves are the strongest pirates under the rocks. Now, with the death of the Rox Pirate disbanded. For now, the whole new world, there really isn't any pirate group that can compare to their Roger Pirates. Roger can indeed say that this sea is already the world of their Roger regiment. Today's Valley of Gods harvest is really good, not only beheaded rocks, but also greatly weakened Marines' combat power, and made monsters like Air owe us a favor, Rayleigh said excitedly. Yeah, Air's favor will definitely be of great help to our Roger Pirates in the future, Jabba also agreed. The strength of monsters like Air, they have already noticed with their own eyes today. Even the strongest Admiral Kong in Naval Headquarters was defeated by a man like Air. Not surprisingly, with the disbandment of the Rox group. Advertisement: when Air grows up, his strength will be even more terrifying. And they owe a favor for letting monsters like Air. If they make good use of it in the future, it will clear up major troubles for them. But then again, this island is going to sink. Rayleigh glanced at the seawater that was surging all around, and reminded aloud. Because of the previous fight between Air and Kong, the complete body Susano released by Air slashed the Valley of the Gods into a huge rift. This also led to the fact that the seawater has been rushing up to the Valley of Gods, and now it has been so long in the past. The Valley of the Gods is becoming more and more overwhelmed, the speed of the sea is increasing, and the speed of the island sinking is even faster. It's time to decide to retreat. Roger nodded. Today, their purpose has been achieved, and it is meaningless to continue to stay in this Valley of the Gods. Meanwhile, on the other side, somewhere in the ruins of the Valley of the Gods, Air slowly opened his pupils, and after a confrontation with Kong. His stamina and hoki's consumption is very high, so he has been staying in this place to recover his stamina and hoki. As for the Rox Regiment cadres, either were fighting Marine at this point, either looking for Uranus. Naturally no one chose to touch Air. And Air only recovered for a while because of his pervert physique like Sage body. But this also allowed him to recover a lot of physical strength as well as hoki. But now, they have found an opportunity and are ready to take Rox's body back and convene the world. After Air arrived at the scene, saw countless Marines carrying Rox's bodies. But Rox is dead, and they're definitely going to have a hype to the world. This battlefield is where the Rogers fought against Rox and killed Rox. Although it is said that Rox has long died in the Valley of the Gods, but because the Valley of the Gods has been taking place in a series of battles. Air came to a battlefield in the Valley of the Gods. They Marines suffered heavy losses though. The group of Marines didn't have time to deal with Rox's corpse either. Chapter 160 Burial Rox. Just then a Marine, after noticing that there was a blade in the pile of corpses and then holding it in his hand, he immediately said excitedly. Look, this knife. It's Rox's knife, 39. Is it Rox's knife? I heard that his knife is the most precious and rare in the world. Looking at the whole world, there are only 12 supreme swords. If we bring this sword back, we Marine may be able to inspire a master swordsman. If that's the case, then bring back Rox's body and his knife, 99. Many Marines were talking about it. The body of Rox was brought back to tell the world that they killed Rox. And Rox's knife, they also want to bring back. After all, this is the most precious blade in the world. Air, who was not far away, looked at everything in front of him with a gloomy expression, said. Put down the bodies of Rox. 99. Although Air doesn't like Rox, Rox is still kind to him. Since Rox fell in the Valley of the Gods, his body must also be buried in the Valley of the Gods. If he didn't allow it, Marine brought Rox's body back to tell the world. Air, it's Air. Seeing Air's appearance, the group of Marine elites panicked to the extreme. After all, Air's performance in this Valley of the Gods battle is too bright. What, do you want to put down Rox's body, or we'll die? Don't panic. This guy has fought against Zephyr Vice Admiral and then Kong Admiral. His stamina and hoki have already been exhausted, and his body must not recover much in such a short period of time. Maybe it's an opportunity. That's right, Air is very strong, but after 2 rounds of battle, his body has already reached its limit. Maybe we can kill him now. The terrifying power of Air casts a deep shadow over countless Marine elites. But they speculate that Air may be very weak now. At this time, if they can kill Air, they must get a promotion. Can be called a Marine's hero. Countless Marine elites glanced at each other and then made up their minds. Go, kill him. A large number of Marine elites charged towards Air with weapons, trying to kill him. Advertisement, what a bunch of idiots, Air snorted coldly. In the next second, he directly pulled out the blade from his waist to slay the demon. Shoo! I saw a ferocious sword chi flashing through the air, carrying endless power, tearing apart the space at high speed, and slashing towards the group of Marine elites. Puff puff. Many marine elites were directly cut off by Air's sword energy and died on the spot. How? How is that possible? This guy is still capable of fighting. Damn, what a joke, isn't this monster's body already reaching its limit? Why did it recover in such a short time? This guy is a total monster, quick, run, we will be killed. Seeing that many marine elites were beheaded, the group of marines who survived was panicked to the extreme. Originally, they thought that Air's body had reached its limit, and he couldn't exert much combat power. They can easily kill it, but with Air swinging a knife. That terrifying and invincible strength once again turned into a shadow and shrouded their heads. They threw Rox's corpse and Rox's saber directly, and ran towards the distance with all their strength. Hope to have a life. Shush. Air swung a sword again, the sword sheet horizontally, flying at an extremely fast speed, beheading all the remaining marines. After doing all this, Air inserted the slayer back into the scabbard and came to Rox's corpse. No, strictly speaking, it should be a headless corpse. Because Rox's head has been cut off by Roger, Air glanced at Rox's body. Started looking around in the surrounding corpses, and found the head of Rox covered in blood. Then placed Rox's head on top of the corpse. Air took a deep look at Rox's head with his eyes closed, and said, "That's all I can do for you, Captain Rox. In this Valley of the Gods battle, it wasn't just Marine who wanted him dead. The same goes for the Roger Regiment." Advertisement. 0 katakana middle dot for flowers katakana middle dot katakana middle dot. In addition, the cadres of the Rox Regiment also wanted him to die here. It can be said that all the people who participated in the Valley of Gods war wanted Rox to die here. Under such a situation, no matter how strong Air is, it will never change the ending of Rox's death. Air picked up Rox's blade, wiped off all the blood on it, and then held the scabbard tightly. Rox's knife is worthy of being the strongest knife in the world, a supremely fast knife. Just by holding it in his hand, Air can clearly feel the power transmitted from the blade. Air took a look at the supreme sword in his hand, and then picked up the scabbard that Rox was hanging around his waist. He inserted this supremely fast knife back into the scabbard and hung it on his waist. "I'll take your knife, Captain Rox." Rox died, and this knife was already a sword without a master. That being the case, why not let Air inherit the Rox knife? Air dug a pit in the Valley of the Gods and buried Rox's body in it. Left this place. A certain area of the Valley of the Gods battlefield. At this time, Whitebeard is in a fierce confrontation with Sengoku. The battle between the Valley of the Gods Marine and the Pirates has long since entered a white-hot stage. Whitebeard and Sengoku originally fought in the middle of the Valley of the Gods. However, because the two have been pulling the battlefield, they have almost reached the edge of the Valley of the Gods. Boom! Along with Sengoku's palm swing, Whitebeard's figure flew backwards, and then half knelt on the ground. Because he defeated Darrows, the captain of the CPO organization, he spent a lot of physical strength. Now fighting against a strong man like Sengoku for such a long time. At this time, Whitebeard is already powerless, and both his physical strength and haki are severely exhausted. "You've lost, Edward." Sengoku approached Whitebeard step by step and said coldly. Whitebeard held on to him for a long time though. But Sengoku also knew that Whitebeard couldn't stop his attack at this time. "I'm not down yet, Sengoku." Whitebeard stood up and begged with a smile on his face. Chapter 161. The Valley of God is about to sink, and it will meet with everyone. Please complete the order. I have to say, Whitebeard is worthy of being the strongest man in the world in the future. Even though he was at the end of the game, he still held on to Sengoku for so long. If this were replaced by someone else, I'm afraid they would have fallen under Sengoku's palms long ago. "In your state, can you block my next attack?" Sengoku snorted. "You'll know if you try it." Whitebeard held the Kong Cloud Cut in both hands and said bravely. Big Buddha shocked. Sengoku didn't say much nonsense to Whitebeard, and there were terrifying energy fluctuations in his palms. In the next second, he approached Whitebeard at extreme speed, and his palms came out, violently shaking towards Whitebeard. Sengoku faced such an attack. Cold sweat broke out on Whitebeard's forehead, and he shouted, holding Kong Yunki in both hands, trying to slash towards Sengoku. Today, because of his excessive physical exertion, 737, he can't even use Devil Fruit's ability. He also knew that he couldn't resist Sengoku's blow. But he didn't want to fall like this. Swish, 35. Right at this moment of crisis, a terrifying sword energy suddenly appeared in the distance, tearing space at high speed, over Whitebeard, and attacked Sengoku's palms. Boom boom. The scene exploded immediately. The ground shook uncontrollably, and endless gray smoke rose up. The water beneath my feet was still surging and rolling. Gu la la la. Air, you came in time. Whitebeard glanced behind him and couldn't help laughing. If Sengoku's attack just now hit Whitebeard, Whitebeard would definitely be defeated. However, because Air arrived in time, he cut out a terrifying sword energy to resist Sengoku's attack. This is what made it possible for Whitebeard to stand here now. I'm still planning to have a drink with you after the war. How can I let you fall in this place, Edward? Air walked slowly, a smile on his face. Advertisement. It seems that I have to treat you to a drink, 99. Of course, you pay. No problem, Whitebeard nodded. Air. At this moment, Sengoku came out of the smoke with a grim expression on his face. He never thought that at such a critical moment, Air actually stood up. Without Air, he would have taken Whitebeard now. Stop it, Sengoku, your marine camp's Brownie, Darrows, Zhenwu, and Black Bat are all dead. If you continue to fight with us in the Valley of the Gods, you will only have death waiting for you. Air glanced at Sengoku indifferently, although he also wants to team up with Whitebeard to take Sengoku. However, he also knew very well that this could not be done. Because the current Whitebeard is already close to the limit, let alone launching an attack. Even if he was slapped by Sengoku, he would have fainted on the spot. And if he was alone, it would be impossible to kill Sengoku. Although he adjusted for a while, he recovered some physical strength as well as haki. But, this little stamina and haki are not enough to defeat Sengoku, let alone kill him. A little careless, even he and Whitebeard will die at the hands of Sengoku. What did you say? Sengoku widened his pupils and looked at Air in disbelief. Because the battle in the Valley of the Gods had lasted too long, the battlefield had long since been divided. So at this time Sengoku, it is not clear that Zhenwu Admiral and Black Bat Admiral are dead. He only knew that Zhenwu Admiral and Black Bat Admiral were fighting Roger, Rayleigh and Jabba before. But, he couldn't believe that these two people were already dead. You must know Zhenwu and Black Bat, but they are Admiral of Naval Headquarters. Do I need to repeat that, Sengoku? The reason why Air knew that Admiral the Black Bat and Admiral Zhenwu had died at the hands of Roger and others. That's because he got Rock's blade. I noticed a certain area in the Valley of the Gods, the fallen body of Zhenwu and the Black Bat. What a joke, how could Zhenwu and Hibat die at the hands of the Roger regiment? Sengoku roared. You must know that Roger, Rayleigh, and Jabba had a bloody battle with Rox before, and it was not easy to consume. Advertisement now, he can still kill Zhenwu Admiral and Black Bat Admiral? For Air's words, Sengoku is still a little unbelievable. Well, believe it or not, but if you think about it, if you continue to fight us, you will die here, 35. UB asterisk 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 D. Sengoku's eyes were split, his eyes staring at Air Zero. Now, with a little more effort, he can definitely beat Whitebeard. But it can only be defeated and stunned. If you want to kill it, the difficulty is extremely high. And Air was on the side, definitely not watching him kill Whitebeard. Besides, Sengoku doesn't know what the other cadres of the Rox are doing now. Indeed, as Air said, staying here is extremely risky. Next time we meet, I will definitely get rid of you, Edward, Air. After Sengoku left this sentence, he quickly left here, preparing to join others. Continue to fight Air and take a huge risk. Sengoku still decided to find other surviving Marines first, join them and consider leaving the Valley of the Gods. Seeing Sengoku disappear from sight, Air breathed a sigh of relief and glanced at Whitebeard. Let's go, Edward, it's time to leave here, the Valley of God is about to sink. When Air's stamina haki recovered some, wandering in the Valley of the Gods. The water was only submerging the ankles, but now the water was almost submerged to the calf. Air guessed that within a short time, the entire Valley of the Gods would be completely submerged. It is good. Whitebeard nodded. 4.3 The two quickly arrived at the central location of the Valley of the Gods. It can be seen that almost all the places in the center of the Valley of the Gods are corpses. The blood flowing from the corpse was about to turn the seawater in the center of the Valley of the Gods completely red. The end of the Valley of the Gods battle was tragic. The ordinary crew members of the Rox regiment, as well as ordinary cadres, almost all fell into this Valley of the Gods. As for Marine, the losses were also extremely heavy, and countless Marine elites were killed. Marshal Marine Brownie was killed. The captain of the CPO organization, Darrows, was killed, Marine Admiral Zhenwu, and Marine Admiral Black Bat were also killed. Air and Whitebeard, having just arrived, noticed. Golden Lion, Charlotte Linlin, Kaido, John, Silver Axe, Ochaku have all gathered in this place. Chapter 162 The Leaked Walled Pirates, required, Air? The first time Air appeared, he was stared at by John, Silver Axe, and Ochaku with murderous eyes. Although they wanted to kill Air in the Valley of the Gods. However, Charlotte Linlin, Golden Lion, Kaido, Whitebeard are all around. In addition, Air's physical strength haki at this time has recovered some, and they want to kill him. It is as hard as climbing to the sky. Air also noticed the three people's murderous eyes, and glanced at the three of them without fear. John and the others stared at Air for a few seconds, then withdrew their murderous gaze. After all, no matter how hostile they are to Air, there is no way they can take Air now. When Golden Lion noticed Whitebeard, he immediately laughed. Gia ha ha ha. Edward, you are still alive. I thought you had died in the Valley of God. Shiki, you are not dead. How could I have fallen in such a place? Whitebeard laughed. Lousy will conquer the whole sea in the future and become the king of the world. How could he die in such a place? Golden Lion took out a cigar from his pocket and laughed horribly. Today, Rox is dead, and Golden Lion has made no secret of his ambitions. Say what you want to say, do what you want to do. No one can restrain him. Mama. Shiki, the person who can become the queen of the sea in the future can only be me. 35 Charlotte Linlin laughed weirdly. You? Forget it, Linlin. Golden Lion lit a cigar and folded his arms across his chest. Then let's see, Shiki, Charlotte Linlin said coldly. But then again, where have Garp and the others gone? Air looked around and asked suspiciously. It can be seen that there are only members of their Rox group at the scene, but Garp and others are not seen. They've retreated, Charlotte Linlin responded. Garp's opponent is Charlotte Linlin. Although it is said that Garp's strength is not inferior to Charlotte Linlin, the same Garp is also very clear. It takes a lot of time to get Charlotte Linlin. Advertisement. Accompanied by the deaths of countless marine elites. And the Valley of God is about to sink into the sea. Garp and others also chose to retreat one after another. Have you retreated? Air said, rubbing his chin with his hand. Logically speaking, in the Valley of the Gods, only Garp, Sengoku, Zephyr, and Crane are the 4 top powerhouses with fighting power. If Golden Lion and the others join forces, there is a high probability that a few will be killed. But alas, Golden Lion, their focus is on finding Uranus. Never thought about joining forces to deal with Marine. Now that the Roger Pirates and Marine have retreated, it's time for us to leave, Kaido reminded. The war in the Valley of the Gods has been going on for a long time. Whether it's the Roger Pirates or their Rox Pirate, all have achieved what they want. It's pointless to stay here, and the Valley of the Gods is about to sink into the sea. If you want to leave, leave. Golden Lion floated in the air and glanced at everyone indifferently. Shiki, you are still trying to find Uranus. John glanced at him and saw through his thoughts. I advise you to give up, Shiki. We have already searched the entire Valley of the Gods, and there is no Uranus at all. Silver Axe shook his head slightly. Uranus is one of the important purposes of their visit to the Valley of the Gods. However, even if they rummaged through the entire Valley of the Gods, they could not find this thing. Gia ha ha ha. Since the final indicator of the historical text points to the Valley of God, then it means that there must be this place, but you just haven't found it, Golden Lion said unwillingly. In fact, he also looked around in the Valley of the Gods, but found no clues. However, the Golden Lion is not going to give up. After all, Uranus is an ancient weapon. As long as this weapon is found, it means that the future Golden Lion can become the overlord of the world. How could the Golden Lion give up looking for something so important? Don't be stupid, Shiki. If there really was Uranus in the Valley of the Gods, Marine would have used such weapons to attack us. Charlotte Linlin's eyes flickered, and she said calmly. Charlotte Linlin, though, desperately wants Uranus. Advertisement, but she also knew very well that Uranus was probably not in the Valley of the Gods. After all, if they were, why didn't Marine use this weapon against them? Whatever you say, if you want to leave, just leave now. Golden Lion ignored the remarks of several people and took it slow. He was going to wait for Air and the others, and after leaving the Valley of God, he was looking for a few laps by himself. Mama. I won't go, Shiki, until the Valley of the Gods is completely sunk. Charlotte Linlin laughed quizzically. Although pretty sure Uranus is not in the Valley of the Gods. However, Charlotte Linlin is not willing to give up looking for this weapon that will allow her to dominate the world. You two guys, do you want to wait for us to leave, and then look for it alone? Since that's the case, I won't leave, John said. He also intends to find another circle in the 737 Valley of the Gods. Silver Axe and Ochaku think the same way, but then again, have we forgotten a pirate group? First, remember Marine said that not only the Roger Pirates, but also the Walled Pirates participated in the Battle of the Valley of the Gods. Air suddenly spoke up. He clearly remembered that the Battle of the Valley of God had not yet started. Darrows, the captain of the CPO organization, said that there are 2 pirate groups participating in the Valley of God this time. At present, the Roger Pirates have come. Why hasn't the Walled Pirates come? Hearing Air's words, everyone was stunned. Indeed, they suddenly remembered that Marine had said so. This is a cannonball? If you look closely, you can see that this black thing is nothing but a cannonball. At this moment, the sky suddenly became gloomy, and everyone looked up. I saw a black thing that almost covered the sight of all of them. It is about 100 times that of normal shells. John frowned slightly, staring at the high-altitude cannonball with some surprises. Call out, but the volume of this shell is too large. Although he was very sure, the black thing at high altitude was in the shape of a cannonball. Chapter 163 Picking up the leak. Pick up a Tengai Shinsei for you, please order. Tisk. This is Brindewald's ability. Air clicked his tongue. The devil fruit eaten by Brindewald is the Momo fruit. It can increase its speed and make an object larger. It is because of this ability that Brindewald is called the World Destroyer by the world government. Air didn't expect that as soon as he mentioned Brindewald, the opponent's attack came over. Damn, is this guy planning to sink the Valley of the Gods while we and Marine are both injured and let us all die here? Golden Lion said grimly. No wonder Brindewald didn't show up, it turned out to be taking advantage of their loss. Directly launch 100-fold increase in shells, and let all of them sink into the sea with the Valley of the Gods. Gu la la la. This guy really has a good abacus, Whitebeard laughed. If the cadres of the Rox regiment fight for the Rox with all their might and fight against the Marines with all their might, then they are now, it is very likely that all of them are in a state of exhaustion. And in this case, Brindewald fired 100 times more shells. There is a high probability that they will all die in the Valley of the Gods. But it's a pity that Golden Lion and others are in the Battle of the Valley of the Gods. Didn't seriously fight Marines people, so they still have good stamina now. Damn it, Lousy hasn't found Uranus yet, how could you sink the Valley of the Gods? The Golden Lion floated into the air. He directly pulled out the two large sharp knives on his waist and slashed towards the giant cannonballs in the sky. Shoo! Golden Lion swung the blade and slashed out, and two terrifying sword shi flew out in an instant. Cuts the high-altitude shells directly, boom! A loud bang resounded through the sky directly from the sky, shaking the entire Valley of the Gods. Brindewald's ability can not only increase the size of the shells by 100 times. Even the power can also be increased by 100 times. Whoa! After one cannonball was cut off by the Golden Lion, several giant cannonballs struck again. Advertisement Valley of the Gods, a certain sea area nearby. At this time, Brindewald was standing on the boat, while firing 100 times the increase in shells, while staring at the area of the Valley of the Gods. Boom bang bang. Another number of cannonballs that were increased by 100 times hit the Valley of the Gods. Ha ha ha. This war, the final winner, can only be me Brindewald. Many of the shells he fired were destroyed by air and others on the Valley of the Gods. But at the same time, a lot of shells have already landed in certain areas of the Valley of the Gods. The Valley of the Gods, after going through a great battle, was already overwhelmed. After the bombardment of his artillery shells, the speed of the Valley of Gods fall increased several times again. Air, I don't believe that you can leave the Valley of the Gods alive, Brindewald said with a cold smile on the corner of his mouth. If he had to say who he hated the most in this sea, then it was Air. The battle at Hive Island that year, if not for the appearance of Air and others. Marine wouldn't have dispatched so many top-notch combat power at all, and he certainly wouldn't have encountered that kind of danger. Moreover, you can also take away countless treasures from the Beehive Island auction. But the root of everything is because of Air. Because of Air's appearance, he didn't get anything from the auction. Instead, his crew members were all killed, and he was also on the verge of dying at the Battle of Hive Island. If it wasn't for luck, he would have died in the Valley of the Gods. To sum up, Brindewald hates Air to the extreme. I believe that now, the pirates of the Valley of the Gods and Marine have already lost both sides. No matter what this time, they will definitely be able to kill some strong people. As expected of Captain Brindewald, he has come up with such a good way to weaken the Rox regiment and Marine's power without losing troops. 99. It seems that we encountered a storm in the middle, which is an opportunity given to us by God. There was much discussion among the crew standing behind Brindewald. The reason why they appeared in the Valley of the Gods so late. It wasn't because they had done it right from the start, so Marine and pirates were going to lose both. Then they planned to launch an attack, but because they encountered a storm on the way, a lot of time was delayed. Advertisement until now, it has not reached the Valley of God. Still, Brindewald looked away with a telescope. They knew that a huge battle had occurred in the Valley of the Gods, and it was almost over. Therefore, he came up with the idea of launching 100-fold increase in shells in the distance. Take this opportunity to sink the Valley of the Gods and see if you can kill a few powerhouses. Air, this time you are mortal, and also kill some Marine powerhouses, as well as the cadres of the Rox regiment, then. The future of this sea is mine Brindewald. Brindewald laughed excitedly as he fired the cannonball. Captain Brindewald, 95. Captain Brindewald. Many pirates on the ship shouted the name of Brindewald excitedly. But it didn't take long for them to be happy. It felt as if their ship was covered by dark clouds, everything around them became gloomy, and an abnormal sound was heard from high in the sky. The crowd looked up. I saw a kilometer-long giant meteorite blazing with intense flames and falling rapidly. Look, it's a meteorite, 39. How is it possible? How can meteorites appear in this place? Damn, this? Jiao, the size of this meteorite is too big. Captain Berndy-Wald, let's run. The size of the meteorite is too large. If we continue to stay here, our ship will be sunk. Berndy-Wald said gloomily. He fired countless cannonballs that increased hundreds of times, although now he has successfully sunk the Valley of the Gods. Looking at the meteorite falling down from the sky, the pirates on board were all panicked to the extreme. Damn it, meteorites won't appear in the sky for no reason. Whose ability is this? Because he also knew very well how serious the loss would be if he was hit by a meteorite. If such meteorites fell, there is no doubt that all of them would sink Haisong. At this time, he also wanted to continue firing shells and try his best to kill some powerhouses. It's not that they haven't seen meteorites, but they haven't seen such a big meteorite. But now he had to think about retreating. Chapter 164 Uranus. Momo 100 times faster. Berndy-Wald pushed away the pirate who was at the helm. Then use your own abilities on the ship, so that the speed of the ship's movement has been increased by 100 times. Want to escape from the area hit by the meteor in the shortest possible time. At this moment, there was another abnormal sound from the sky. Everyone noticed that another huge meteorite appeared in the sky. Moreover, the volume is even bigger than before. Bang! Captain Berndy-Wald, another meteorite has appeared. Damn, what monster's ability is this, and it can release meteorites? It's logically impossible. The strong men on the Valley of the Gods fought for such a long time, they should be dead and wounded. They are already exhausted and approaching their limit. How can anyone continue to release meteorites? Berndy-Wald's crew stared at the meteorite in the sky with fear. They don't know who released this magnificent, huge meteorite. Even more incomprehensible. The battle in the Valley of the Gods was so intense and long. Why do people still have the physical strength to continuously release such moves? Damn it, can't escape, Berndy-Wald roared. Although his devil fruit can increase the speed of the ship by more than 100 times. But the place where the meteorite 737 landed was completely aimed at his ship. No matter how fast the ship was traveling, the meteorite completely blocked his escape route. Momo 30 times faster, seeing the high-altitude artillery shells are about to fall. Berndy-Wald directly abandoned the ship and covered himself with Devil Fruit's abilities. His Devil Fruit ability can multiply objects by 100 times. But in itself, it can only increase by 30 times at most. However, don't underestimate the 30x speed. You know, Berndy-Wald is a famous big pirate with a bounty of billions of Baileys. Advertisement. How fast is he? He has also mastered some Marine 6 styles. After increasing his speed by 30 times, Berndy-Wald directly swiped an afterimage in space and disappeared. In order not to be sunk by the meteorite, he decisively abandoned the crew and the ship. Boom! The next moment, a huge roar sounded from the sea that shook the world and resounded through the sky. The kilometer-long meteorite smashed directly into the Berndy-Wald ship, knocking it into the deep sea. On the sea surface, there was a sudden surge of waves, thousands of meters high, reaching the sky. The endless waves rolled continuously, and then formed a tsunami, roaring in all directions, rushing towards the surrounding directions. Meanwhile, on the other side, the Valley of the Gods. It appears to have been resolved. Air stood in the sea where his waist had been submerged, and glanced at the area in the distance. The meteor just now was his Tengai Shinsei ability. Tengai Shinsei not only can release one meteorite, it can be released continuously. And, one is bigger than the other, your ability is quite convenient. Air. Golden Lion glanced at the rising waves in the distance, then glanced at Air. Air's ability is not only extremely powerful in melee combat, but can even manipulate meteorites for long-range attacks. It's just a little trick. Air said lightly. The ability of Tengai Shinsei is indeed very strong. However, this ability can only be regarded as ordinary among all the abilities of Immortal Eye. Air can also unlock stronger abilities when the progress of the Sage's Eye reaches enough to upgrade in the future. Hearing Air's words, Golden Lion and the others were all taken aback. Such terrifying moves are just small tricks of carving insects? Love you in Versailles, Gu la la la. You're too modest. Air, Whitebeard laughed. The power of Tengai Shinsei, how strong, Whitebeard and the others are watching with their own eyes. First, before the Valley of the Gods war began, more than a dozen warships in naval headquarters were directly destroyed. A few more meteors destroyed Berndy-Wald's ship. Advertisement, added. Such destructive power, how could it be just a small trick? When Air heard the words, he just smiled and spread his hands and didn't explain much. But then again, since the Burndy-Wald guy is a capable person, it seems that he should be dead now. Charlotte Linlin looked at the tsunami road that was constantly rolling in the distance. Gia ha ha ha. One move kills a pirate with a bounty of billions of Bailey. Your ability is really pervert, Golden Lion commented. Well, I don't know if that guy is dead or not. Air shook his head slightly. The Wald Pirates, after all, is the second largest pirate group in the New World after the Roger Group. Air couldn't believe that just one move, Tengai Shinsei, could kill Burndy-Wald. If this guy is not dead, next time we meet, I will kill him with my own hands, Golden Lion said coldly with his arms folded in front of his chest. Thanks to that guy Burndy-Wald, now that the Valley of the Gods is about to sink completely, are you going to continue searching for Uranus, Shiki? Charlotte Linlin asked the Golden Lion while standing on White Cloud Zeus. The Valley of the Gods itself is about to sink into the sea, and now, it has been baptized by Burndy-Wald cannonballs. Within a few minutes, the Valley of the Gods will completely disappear into this sea. No, Golden Lion shook his head slightly. Originally, he did plan to continue to look for Uranus in the Valley of God. But now, the Valley of God has almost completely sunk. And he is a capable person, and there is no way to find it. Because of this, he just said that the next time we meet, he will kill Burndy-Wald. Then, Uranus is either going to sink into the sea, or the Valley of the Gods. There is no Uranus at all, Charlotte Linlin said slowly. If according to what you said, Uranus is really not in the Valley of the Gods, then what is the record in the historical text? John wondered. The historical text is the most precious and indestructible stone tablet in the world. Charlotte Linlin doesn't really believe it now. Uranus is still in the Valley of the Gods. After all, before them, the people from the world government and marine had already found it in the Valley of the Gods. Who knows this kind of thing? Either Uranus has been taken away long ago, or the news in the historical text is false. Charlotte Linlin expressed her opinion. But, what's the point of doing this? Not even the slightest clue. Is there a fake message about Uranus engraved on the historical text? Is there anyone who is free? And after they came to the Valley of God, they searched again, not to mention finding Uranus. Chapter 165. Is Sengoku dead? Whether it's true or not, now Rox has died in the Valley of God, and we should leave, Golden Lion reminded. Although they did not find Uranus in the end, they were a little disappointed. But at least the Rox are dead and they're free. That's right, it's time to leave. Bye, Beard nodded. The crowd came to the Rox regiment, the ship. Start to scavenge the things on the ship. You must know that on the Rox group ship, the Rox have stored a lot of treasures. At the same time, a voice from the system entered Air's mind. Ding, congratulations to host, get 400 points of progress in the Fairy Eye. With the sound of the system falling, the system panel also popped up. Host. Air abilities. Armament Hockey, 1,254 thousandths. Observation Hockey, 1,244 thousandths. Conqueror's Hockey, max. Special ability. Sage Body, max. Ability. Sword, Great Swordsman. Special abilities. Sage Eyes, 406 thousandths. Currently early stage, unlocked abilities. Complete Susanoo, Tengai Shinsei. Note. When the progress is full, other abilities of the Sage's Eye will be unlocked, and a chance for a special lottery will be obtained. 9 Tails. Tailed Beast Bomb, unlocked. Tailed Beast Transformation, unlocked. Current 9 Tails form. Kurama Chakra Mode, unlocked. Kurama Mode, unlocked. 10 Tails, unlocked. Need to unlock 1 to 8 tails of tailed beasts. You can unlock 10 tails. 7 Tails, unlocked. 8 Tails, unlocked. This time in the Battle of the Valley of the Gods, Air got 400 progress points. Although you get a lot of progress points, don't forget. If Immortal Eye wants to be promoted, it needs to spend a full 6,000 progress points. It seems that it will take a lot of time to unlock more abilities of the Immortal Eye, Air secretly said. A simple glance at the properties panel, and Air closes it. Then continued to search for treasures on the Rox group ship. Meanwhile, on the other side, a certain area of the Valley of the Gods. You must know that the Valley of the Gods, as the holy land of celestial dragons, has an extremely wide area. Advertisement. Although the Valley of the Gods has experienced countless battles between the powerful, some areas have not been completely destroyed. At this time, Garp, Zephyr, Crane, Kong, and the Marine elite who still survived. While staying in the area, they were on the lookout for the appearance of the Rox. While adjusting the state, prepare to leave the Valley of God. Zephyr looked into the distance with an angry expression. Damn, the cannonball just now was released by that B******************************* D. Burndy-Wald. That guy was invited by the world government. Not only did he not help us, but he wanted to get rid of us all. The people from the world government personally went to win over the walled pirates. As a result, the bastards don't have to help the Marines against the Rox. He even launched a large-scale cannonball baptism, and wanted them all to die here. But there's no movement now. I'm afraid it has already been dealt with by the air group. He sat on a stone and said solemnly. These pirates really can't be trusted, Zephyr said helplessly. Originally, the appearance of the Roger Pirates made Marine extremely excited. When Roger's regiment beheaded Rox, Marine's morale rose to a peak. But with the backhand of the Roger group, it was time to deal with the Black Bat Admiral and the true martial arts admiral. Their mood dropped to rock bottom. Today, the walled pirates appear late, even if they're even worse than the Rogers. I want all the powerful people in the Valley of God to fall. This time in the Valley of the Gods battle, only one Rox was won, but we have lost so many strong men. Garp said angrily. Rox's death, in their view, was something to be celebrated and excited about. But, don't forget, they have lost 3 top combat powers. The bastards of the Roger Pirates blocked Black Bat and Zhenwu, otherwise, Air would have to die in the Valley of the Gods, Zephyr said with great regret. If Air also died in the Valley of the Gods, the Marine lost 3 top combat powers and they were acceptable. But the monster Air is still alive. The end of this battle was a bit hard for them to accept. I didn't kill Air in the Valley of the Gods this time. With this monster's talent, the future, I'm afraid it will become even more terrifying. 99 he said solemnly. Advertisement 0. For Flowers Katakana middle. Air's talent for strength is terrifying, and they know it best as Marines. Such a man, it was their greatest regret that they did not get rid of him in this Valley of the Gods battle. Since I didn't kill this guy Air in the Valley of the Gods, in the future, I will take him to prison myself. 35 Garp's eyes were firm. This time in the Valley of the Gods battle, he failed to fight against Air. But next time we meet, he will do his best to win Air. At this time, Kong dragged his severely injured body and came to several people and asked. By the way, what about that guy Sengoku? Although Kong was defeated by Air, he did not die. As an admiral of headquarters, who specializes in physical training, he has an extremely tenacious vitality. Naturally, he won't be killed here so easily, Sengoku? Hearing Kong's reminder, Garp and the others were stunned for a moment, then looked around. Only Garp, Zephyr, Crane, Kong, and many Marine elites found staying here. There is no sign of Sengoku. Garp stood up anxiously and looked around again to confirm. Still not seeing Sengoku's figure, his expression suddenly became solemn. That guy Sengoku wouldn't have died at the hands of those bastards in Air. Zephyr was silent for a few seconds, then said worriedly. When they learned that the Roger Pirates killed Admiral the Black Bat, as well as Admiral Zhenwu, he immediately stopped the battle with the Rox Regiment cadres, and reunited at this place. Only now did they realize that Sengoku did not join them. Garp couldn't help but gasped, and a cold sweat broke out on his forehead. Sengoku, is he dead? Sengoku is Garp's friend for many years, and the two have long had a strong friendship. Now, guessing that Sengoku is likely to fall in this place, Garp looks extremely depressed. No, it's too early to speculate that Sengoku is dead, he might just be laid to Garp. Crane shook his head slightly, although he said so. But her heart, like Garp and others, was extremely sad, angry, and depressed. Guessing that Sengoku might actually be dead here. Chapter 166. Announcing the coming of a new era. Air from Damned, Rox from Damned, Garp, will definitely put you all in jail in the future. Garp clenched his fists, and blue veins appeared on his forehead. Garp's words fell, and a voice that was very familiar to them came from not far away. Garp, I feel the same way with you. 35 Garp and the others looked up and saw that Sengoku was approaching. Sengoku? Garp was stunned for a moment, then burst into tears and ran towards Sengoku, hugging them together. You be ****************** D. You are not dead. 35. How could I die in such a place? Sengoku smiled slightly. Seeing Sengoku's figure, Zephyr couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief and sighed. Sengoku, you are still alive, it's really a blessing in a misfortune. They Marine have lost 3 of their top fighters. In addition to Darrows sent by the world government, they lost 4, 737, top powerhouses. If Sengoku also died here, they really don't know what the future holds for their Marine. But then again Sengoku, I remember your opponent is Edward, how is that guy now? Kong asked. It took Sengoku and Whitebeard so long to come to this place to meet. I'm afraid that there is a winner or loser between the two. Hearing Kong's words, Sengoku first sighed helplessly and then reported the truth. Originally, I was able to use up all the physical strength hockey of that guy Edward, and I could kill him, but it's a pity that guy Air appeared at a critical moment. Air? Damn, is this guy again? Hearing Sengoku's words, Kong immediately blamed himself to the extreme. Because if he can kill Air, then he can unite with Zhenwu Admiral and Black Bat Admiral. Get rid of the Roger Pirates together. At the same time, Sengoku can also kill Whitebeard. But, because of his defeat, it led to a series of butterfly effects, and finally got such an ending. Kong is extremely unwilling at this time. If only I could be stronger, I would have gotten rid of Edward's guy earlier. Sengoku couldn't help but said with a low expression. At the time, he could kill Whitebeard just by giving him half a minute more. But unfortunately, his strength was not so amazing, which made Whitebeard drag on for so long. Waiting for Air's arrival. Forget it. The best news is that you're still alive, Sengoku. 35 Garp consoled. Advertisement. After being silent for a long time, Kong raised his head slightly and looked at Sengoku firmly. That's right, the fact is a foregone conclusion. It's useless to blame yourself, Sengoku. You'll have a chance to get rid of them again when you come back alive. Kong also figured out that his own strength is not enough, so he will start the devil-like training again in the future. Improve your strength. This time, he was indeed defeated, and the defeat was extremely complete. But self-blame is also useless. Instead of negative attitude, it is better to strengthen training. Next time I meet Air, he will do his best and risk his life to get rid of him. I see. Sengoku nodded. Then, we should also leave, otherwise we will be in trouble if the Rox group finds us, he reminded. Hearing the crane's words, everyone nodded, and then left the place with the help of the ships in the Valley of God. On the other side, the Rox group boat. Air looked around the boat. The valuable things found were only 3 devil fruits. However, Air is satisfied. After all, something is better than nothing. After everyone searched for the treasures on the ship, then he took out the auxiliary ship from the storage room and prepared to leave this place. At this time, Charlotte Linlin stood on the White Cloud Zeus and sent an invitation to Air. Air, do you want to be my companion? Although she knew, the odds of Air agreeing to join her pirate group would be slim. But monsters like Air, Charlotte Linlin, really desperate for each other to be her companion. No, Air responded without hesitation. The Rox have disbanded, and Air is free. How is it possible to join Charlotte Linlin's pirates again? You guys really don't give me any hope, Air. Gia ha ha ha. Linlin, how could Air be interested in you, an old woman? Golden Lion folded his arms across his chest and laughed. Shiki, do you guys want me to kill you? Charlotte Linlin looked gloomy and murderous in her eyes. Just because you want to kill me? Golden Lion laughed disdainfully. Advertisement, if you want to die, I can fulfill you now, Shiki 0. You can't do this kind of thing, Linlin. Charlotte Linlin and Golden Lion have murderous eyes. They looked at each other, but they still didn't fight. Know that Air, Whitebeard, John, Silver Axe, and Ochaku are all on the side at this time. The two were worried that if they fought, they would be picked up by others. Golden Lion withdrew his gaze from Charlotte Linlin, then put his gaze on Air and smiled. Air, do you want to join my pirate group? Forget it, Shiki, I don't want to join any pirates right now, Air said indifferently. With Air's current strength, there is absolutely no need to join any pirate group. The reason why he joined the Rox group back then was entirely because he was relatively weak at that time. Need to grow up under the shelter of the Rox group. But now, there are only a handful of people who can kill him in the whole sea. Mamama. Shiki, you are too weak, how could Air be interested in your pirate group? Charlotte Linlin scoffed at seeing the Golden Lion rejected. Shut up, Linlin. Golden Lion snorted coldly. Then Golden Lion and Charlotte Linlin scolded again. And Whitebeard glanced at Air at this time. Originally he had the same idea as Golden Lion and Charlotte Linlin. They all want to try to win Air into their pirate group. However, when Air 4.3 rejected Golden Lion just now, he had already said it. He didn't want to join any pirate group, so Whitebeard didn't say anything to invite Air at this time. Because he knew that Air would definitely refuse. At this moment, John was standing on a second boat, looked at Air and said coldly. Air, we won't let you live in this sea for too long. Sooner or later, we will let you die in this sea with Captain Rox. I advise you not to think like this, John, you will be killed by me, Air said lightly. Now Air is actually killing John. However, because Tengai Shinsei's ability was released just now, his stamina was consumed a lot. If you do it now, you may not be able to win John. What's more, if he really wanted to do it, Ochaku and Silver Axe wouldn't be watching. We'll join forces with John to deal with him. Chapter 167 Angry 5 Elders, Unbelievable Ending. Then let's see, Air, John left the words and drove the boat away. Looking forward to our next meeting, Air in the sea. You don't want to die at the hands of others. Silver Axe said gloomily. Don't say big things before you leave, it will make you look stupid, Silver Axe. You be ********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************* However, he did not attack Air at this time either. After all, he could feel that Air's pervert physique had recovered some stamina. At this time, he shot Air, and Golden Lion and Whitebeard were not allowed to stop him. Silver Axe gave Air a deep look, and then drove a small boat away as well. Ochaku didn't say much, and drove a boat away. At this point, only Air, Charlotte Linlin, Kaido, Golden Lion, and Whitebeard remained on the Rox boat. Golden Lion lit a cigar and stared at Air. The Rox group has disbanded. What are your plans for the next step, Air? I haven't thought about O3 yet, Air responded truthfully. He really hasn't thought about his future plans, because he just wants to find devil fruit. It's a pity. If you join my pirate group and join forces with me, we will be able to dominate the whole world in the future. Air's strength, the Golden Lion has fully seen in this Valley of the Gods war. He believed. If Air is willing to assist him, the sea in the future will surely belong to the two of them. This kind of thing, I advise you not to think about Shiki, but if you two get into trouble at sea in the future, you can exchange devil fruit for it, and I can consider helping you. Golden Lion, Charlotte Linlin, Kaido, Whitebeard and others are all big pirates who will develop into New World in the future. Similarly, they will definitely collect a lot of devil fruit on the way. The most scarce thing in Air is devil fruit. If several people can exchange devil fruit, Air might as well get a little tired and help the two deal with the trouble. Golden Lion's eyes were fiery, and his pupils stared at Air. Although I don't know why you are collecting so many devil fruits, is this true, Air? Advertisement. Although devil fruit is one of the rarest treasures in this sea. However, a few devil fruits can be exchanged for Air's help. Golden Lion feels that this kind of transaction is still very worthwhile. Of course, but it's too much trouble, and the amount of devil fruit charged will also be large, Shiki. Air smiled slightly. Mamama. That's it, Air, Charlotte Linlin said. Remember, if the number of devil fruits is small, I won't do it, Air reminded. After a few more conversations, they left. Air and Whitebeard, on the other hand, found a place to have a few drinks. After one day, Holy Land Marijoy, the highest temple. The old man with the knife was sitting on the sofa with a phone bug in his hand. On the other side of the phone bug, it was Marine who was reporting information on the Battle of the Valley of the Gods to him. However, with the continuous reports from Marine, the old man with the knife's expression became more and more gloomy. Hearing the end, the old man with the knife slapped the phone bug in his hand on the table and said solemnly, "Damn, what a joke. This time in the Valley of the Gods battle, only one person took Rox, and on our side, we lost Darrows, Brownie, Zhenwu, Blackbat. This time they world government, in order to completely get rid of the Rox group. Not only did the top combat power of naval headquarters be dispatched, but Darrows was even dispatched. And sent members of the CPO organization to win over the Roger Pirates and the Walled Pirates. But in the end, the result was just the fall of Rox. And on their side, they lost 4 powerful combat powers. Originally, when the news of the Battle of the Valley of the Gods had not yet arrived, they speculated that the Rox group would all be destroyed in the Valley of the Gods. But now there is indeed such a result. If it is said that Rox and Air are the ones who died in this Battle of the Valley of the Gods, even if we lose 4 important fighting forces on our side, that's fine. But I didn't expect that it was only Rox who fell in the Valley of the Gods, and the monster Air was still alive and well. The long straight-haired old man said solemnly, advertisement. In their opinion, the most threatening man in the entire Rox regiment. It is Rox and the monster Air with unlimited potential. They launched the Valley of the Gods campaign. The biggest purpose is to get rid of Rox and Air. But the end of the final battle left them very disappointed. Or to say it was extremely disappointing, even if the entire Rox group was not eliminated. Even Air is still alive. Air's current strength is enough to defeat Admiral Kong of Naval Headquarters. It really took him too much time to grow. Air has only been able to beat Garp since long ago. But a few years later, Air's strength has grown enough to defeat top powerhouses like Kong. Air's talent made several Five Elders also shocked and worried. This guy, it would be great if we were from the world government side, but unfortunately such a monster eventually became a pirate. The 39 long straight-haired old man sighed. If Air is on their side of the world government, then their world government must exhaust all resources to cultivate Air. After all, Air's talent and strength will be enough to carry a banner for their world government in the future. But unfortunately, Air became a pirate, not a member of their world government. It is really a pity that our world government did not discover Air in advance and included him as a member of our world government. However, the most regrettable thing for me is that this group of incompetent Marines did not get rid of the scourge of Air, which is not good news for us. Air's talent, they see it in their eyes, such a man, after leaving the Rox group. Presumably the strength will be a step closer. It is extremely difficult to get rid of now, in the future, let alone. But it's not all Marines' fault, but the Roger Pirates. The blonde old man calmly expressed his opinion. They wooed the Roger Pirates, and the original intention of participating in the Valley of God war was to deal with the Rox. But no one thought that Roger had something to do with Air. When Zhenwu Admiral and Black Bat Admiral wanted to kill Air, Roger Pirates, stand up, if not, Air will surely fall in the Valley of the Gods. The old man in a black suit said angrily, pirates are indeed a group of unbelievable guys. Chapter 168. This era is called Sage of Six Paths. Inviting the Roger Pirates to join the walled pirates in the Valley of the Gods of War is a big mistake for us. Although the Roger group helped them solve the Rox. But, the same also solved Zhenwu Admiral and Black Bat Admiral. All in all, they don't really make a lot of money. Forget it, it's useless to say so much now. We need to plan the future of the sea. Although the Rox Regiment has been disbanded, none of the main cadres of the Rox Regiment have died. Air, Edward Newgate, Shiki, Charlotte Linlin, Kaido, John, Silver Axe, Ochaku. These cadres are a group of dangerous guys, especially Air. If you let him grow up, I'm afraid this sea will appear next Rox. Although the Rox are dead, the survival of monsters like Air is in front of them. If it wasn't for the orders of Lord Yimu, we couldn't go to the sea in person. Otherwise, this guy Air would have died in this sea long ago. The long straight-haired old man snorted coldly. The Battle of the Valley of the Gods was not because the 5 elders didn't want to go down to fight. However, IM had orders to keep them in the Holy Land of Marijoy. Only participate in the discussion of the sea pattern and the order. Not being able to go down in person will have an impact on the situation at the sea. Only when IM felt the sea, when someone completely threatens their world government's dominance. I am only summoning the 5 elders and giving them the order to wipe out the annihilation. Under the premise that we can't make a move, just based on Marine's current situation, it is difficult to pose a threat to the remaining Rox Regiment cadres. The old man with the knife sat on the sofa and calmly analyzed. Marine has lost a marshal and 2 admirals. This is undoubtedly a big hit for Marine. With Marine's current power, it is difficult to pose too much threat to this group of monsters in New World. What are we going to do now? We need to meet Lord Yimu, report the order and then let him issue an order to kill. Shall we go down and get rid of these pirates in person? 35. Lord Yimu probably already knew about the battle situation in the Valley of the Gods, but she still didn't summon us. That is to say, the situation in this sea is still among her masters. We are not polite to meet Yimu now. My lord, it will only arouse her disgust. 5. I am as the true leader of world government. Such characters, I am afraid, know the battle situation in the Valley of Gods earlier than them. But, I am not moving. That means Ming, advertisement. I am still doesn't think that this group of pirates on the sea today will pose a threat to their world government's rule. Then what do you mean? We can only watch this group of monsters in New World grow, and can't intervene. We really can't make a move, but don't forget that although pirates are our enemies, but the same pirates are also enemies. Let them fight each other. As long as the foundation of our world government is not shaken, everything is indifferent. The blonde old man responded very calmly. Pirates and Marines are hostile. There is also a hostile relationship between pirates and pirates, since a few of them can't intervene in the situation of the sea. Marine also poses little threat to New World monsters. If so, let it go. Let the monsters of New World kill each other. And Marine can also take advantage of this time. Conduct world conscription, recruit some strong people or something, and return a mouthful of blood. It seems that the only solution is to let them kill each other. The long straight-haired old man sighed. However, this guy Air, we must pay more attention. After all, his talent has surpassed Rox at present. If he is given a certain amount of time, he will definitely become a character like Rox, and even surpass Rox. 99. The blonde old man reminded solemnly. Anyone in the sea, they can care less. But only Air, the man who even made them feel threatened, must pay more attention. Then let's wait and see. Once Air's threat can attract the attention of Lord Yimu, then we will kill this man with our own hands. The next day, Naval Headquarters, Marine are numerous. As the headquarters of the Marine force in this place is extremely large. It can be seen that there are many forts on the coast, and there are countless Marine elites guarding them. Because of the fiasco of the Valley of the Gods battle, Marine was also afraid that pirates might attack their naval headquarters during this week period. Advertisement at this time, Marine Infirmary. Garp, Sengoku, and Zephyr are lying on the hospital bed. Zephyr, who had previously lost to Air and then continued to fight, is now seriously injured. And Garp and Sengoku, although not seriously injured. However, because of Crane's request, they also had to temporarily lie down on the hospital bed to recuperate their bodies. While Garp, Sengoku, and Zephyr were lying on the hospital bed chatting, there was a sound of footsteps outside the door. Kaka kaka. As the door slowly opened, the 3 of them also looked towards the door. I saw Crane walked in with a stack of reward orders. I said, Xiaohei, my injury is not serious at all, it would be too boring to stay in this infirmary. 35. When Garp saw the Crane appear, he couldn't help complaining. Although, there are Sengoku and Zephyr in the infirmary chatting with him, but it doesn't make him boring. But now Garp just wants to hurry up and start training to enhance his strength. I don't want to lie down, Haojiao, in the infirmary and recuperate. Garp, the doctor has already said that although you don't have any obvious trauma, you need to adjust properly because you were overworked, he said solemnly. I know he very well about my own body, and this injury has no effect on me at all. What's overworked? I'm doing fine now. Song. His opponent in the Valley of the Gods is Charlotte Linlin. Although Charlotte Linlin's strength is not inferior to him. But because the other party has been avoiding the battle, he didn't face Garp too much. It's always right to listen to the doctor. Garp, take a good rest now, and when your body is completely free, you can get out of bed. He shook his head slightly. As a result, Garp hardly suffered any injuries, just consumed a lot of physical strength. Garp laughed while flexing his muscles. Chapter 169 The latest bounty in the new era, please complete order. Garp, don't let the Crane embarrass you, she is caring about your body. Sengoku on the side said quietly. Ha ha ha. Really? Garp scratched his head and laughed. But then again, who did you get? Whose bounty Ling? Zephyr asked, noticing the bounty in Crane's hand. He glanced at the reward order in his hand, and then put his eyes on the three and said truthfully. Rox Regiment Cadre. 35. Hearing this, Garp, Sengoku, and Zephyr's faces instantly became solemn. The defeat in the Battle of the Valley of the Gods has always been a shadow in the hearts of the three of them. Now, hearing the name of the Rox Regiment Cadre, all three have complex hearts. Want to see Garp? Crane shook the bounty in his hand and asked. Garp didn't speak, but nodded slightly with a frown. The Crane also handed the reward in his hand to Garp. Whitebeard's bounty, 4.5 billion Baileys, Golden Lion bounty, 4 billion Baileys. Charlotte Linlin's bounty, 3.7 billion Baileys, Ochaku bounty, 2.9 billion Baileys. John's bounty, 2.7 billion Bailey. Silver Axe bounty, 2.65 billion Bailey. Garp kept opening the bounties for the cadres of the Rox 737 Regiment. When he turned to the last bounty about air, he was stunned. Although he knew that in the Battle of the Valley of the Gods, air was extremely expressive. But such a high reward amount still makes him a little unbelievable. What's wrong, Garp? Sengoku, who was beside him, noticed the abnormality in Garp's expression and asked. This is air's bounty. A cold sweat broke out on Garp's forehead, and he handed the reward in his hand to Sengoku. Air's reward? Sengoku muttered as he took the reward from Garp. 4.75 billion Bailey? Advertisement. Sengoku read out Air's bounty amount in surprise. You know, before the Battle of the Valley of the Gods, Air's bounty was 3.5 billion Baileys. After experiencing the Battle of the Valley of the Gods, it actually rose to 4.75 billion Bailey. A full increase of 1.25 billion Bailey. Today's Air has become the man with the highest bounty in the New World. You must know that even the main cadre of the Rox Regiment, the world's strongest man, Whitebeard, who has not come, the bounty at this time is only 4.5 billion Bailey. This guy's bounty increase is too amazing. Zephyr couldn't help but take a deep breath and said solemnly. Air's bounty is either unchanged, and if it changes, the increase is extremely amazing. This guy used to have a bounty of only 100 million Bailey. Since he joined the Rox group, this guy has completely turned into a monster. While staring at the bounty in his hand, Sengoku recalled the old Air. Before Air joined the Rox group, he went out to sea and became a pirate. After a full year, Air's bounty was only 100 million Bailey. But since joining the Rox group, Air's strength and bounty have undergone earth-shaking changes. In such a short period of time, the bounty of 100 million Bailey has risen to 4.75 billion Bailey. Become a pirate with the highest bounty in the New World today. Of course. This is to exclude Rox. Rox now has a bounty of 6 billion Baileys, but he's dead. One day, I must personally take this guy Air into prison, Garp said firmly. As soon as the words fell, Garp directly pulled out the medical tube inserted into his body and wanted to get out of bed. He doesn't want to waste a second now, he wants to get out of bed and start training now. And at this moment, a voice suddenly came from the position of the door. Garp, where do you guys want to go? Hearing the familiar voice, Garp raised his head slightly. Then he noticed Kong, who was wrapped in bandages, and appeared at the door of the infirmary. Kong, your injury is all right. Garp was taken aback for a moment, then asked. Kong can be said to be the most injured of the five of them. After all, he was defeated by Air's full-body Susano. Advertisement, My injury is nothing, just some trauma. Kong shook his head slightly. Even though he had so many bandages wrapped around him, the injuries he suffered were basically traumatic injuries. As the highest combat power of the naval headquarters, Marine Admiral, his physique is exceptionally pervert. That's good. Hearing this, Garp nodded reassuringly. The next second, Kong said with a serious look, "Don't change the subject, Garp. Where do you guys want to go?" "I just don't think I'm hurt and want to go out for a walk." Garp scratched his head. "You guy, I still don't understand what you think. You want to start training as soon as possible so that you can get revenge on the air guys," Kong said hotto. Hearing Kong's words, Garp scratched his head in embarrassment. "But then again, Kong, are you here today to see us?" Sengoku asked while lying on the hospital bed. It stands to reason that Kong was hurt more than them. They should be going to see Kong. Why is the other party coming to see them now? On the one hand, to take a look at your injuries, but there is another very important thing to inform you. 35. Kong glanced at the three people in the medical room and said solemnly, "Important things?" Hearing this, Garp, Sengoku, and Zephyr looked at each other and were a little confused. The Battle of the Valley of the Gods has just ended. The pirates also need to be recuperated, so they won't attack their naval headquarters. As a result, the three of them couldn't think of anything important to tell them about Kong. "Garp, Sengoku, Zephyr, you will be the Admiral of Naval Headquarters from now on. Since Marshal Brownie at Naval Headquarters is dead. So now Kong is the next Marshal Marine. Because of Admiral Zhenwu of Naval Headquarters, the two black bats have died in the hands of the Roger Pirates. Kong, who was Admiral, was promoted to Marshal Marine. Today, the Admiral of Headquarters location is directly vacated by 3. After negotiating with senior officials of the world government, the final decision was made. Let Garp, Sengoku, Zephyr replace Marine Admiral. Become the highest combat power of the new naval headquarters. Marine Admiral? When Sengoku heard the words, his pupils contracted violently, his expression was stunned for a moment, and the next second he showed a strong smile. Chapter 170 Garp. If you want freedom, you can't have such a high position, please ask for full order. In order to implement the absolute justice in his heart, Sengoku has already set his sights on the position of Marine Admiral. Now, his dream has finally come true. Now he is no longer Vice Admiral, but the facade of Naval Headquarters, and the highest combat power Admiral. Compared to Sengoku's excitement, Zephyr frowned slightly and sighed. With our current strength, I'm afraid, we can't take on the position of Admiral. Although, Zephyr would love to be an Admiral too. However, he also felt that his current strength was not worthy of becoming a Marine Admiral. After all, he was defeated by Air at the Battle of the Valley of the Gods. With your current strength, you really can't take on the position of Admiral, but don't worry, the world government has issued an order. During this time, the three of you need not interfere in the situation of the sea. Furthermore, the world government has already decided that the 4 of you will go to the Holy Land Marijoy under the personal guidance of the 5 elders. Today's Garp, Sengoku, Zephyr 3, the strength is indeed not weak. But it's not really that strong. Now that it has become the Admiral of Naval Headquarters, it is the highest combat power for Naval Headquarters. Naturally, Marine couldn't be ashamed, in order to fight against the monster pirates of the New World. The 5 elders will decide to personally guide Garp, Sengoku, Zephyr, and Crane. Sengoku was a little surprised. 5 elders? You must know that the 5 elders are the supreme rulers of the world government. It is also the highest combat power of the world government. How strong these old people are, needless to say. Even Air, Golden Lion, Charlotte Linlin, Whitebeard, Kaido teamed up. Neither is too sure of being able to defeat the 5 elders. You guys, you have to take good care of this guidance. The 5 elders have troubles to deal with, but now they are willing to personally guide the 4 of you, Kong said with a serious look. Such an opportunity to be guided by the 5 elders himself, but even as a marshal, he was not entitled to enjoy it. Don't worry, Kong, we won't let you down. Sengoku's eyes were hot and his heart was excited. With personal guidance from such terrifying beings as the 5 elders. Do they still need to be afraid of the monster pirates in New World in the future? Advertisement. This guy Air, next time we meet, I will definitely defeat him. Zephyr clenched his fists. At the Battle of the Valley of the Gods, he was defeated by Air. However, this shame he has always remembered. Now that the 5 elders were instructed, Zephyr would not miss this opportunity. He wants to take advantage of this time to become stronger. Next time we meet, he will be ashamed and beat Air. You guys, just have a good rest first. In a few days, someone from the world government will come to meet you. Kong glanced at a few people and warned. After leaving this sentence, Kong decided to turn around and leave. After all, the news he wants to tell has already been finished. At this moment, Garp, who was sitting on the bed, suddenly stopped him. Wait a minute, Kong. Kong turned his head slightly, looked at Garp with some doubts and asked. What, do you have anything else to do, Garp? Yes. 33 Garp nodded. Are you worried about your D-clan status and fear of being rejected by the 5 elders? Don't worry, Garp, you are now Admiral of Naval Headquarters. The 5 elders don't care about your identity at all, on the contrary, they value you very much. Kong thought that Garp was concerned about his D-family status and explained. The so-called D-family, although they are the natural enemies of God. The name that terrified countless celestial dragons, the clan. But Garp's contribution to their marine over the years, the 5 elders are all in the eyes. They have long since put aside their prejudice against the identity of the Garp D-family. Don't worry, Garp, the 5 elders won't do anything to you. Sengoku followed suit. Yeah, Garp, if they were really prejudiced about your D-clan identity, they wouldn't have let you join Marine, let alone become one of Marine's 4 stars, Zephyr said. The gold content of the 4-star Marine is extremely high. After all, Marine's 4 stars represent the brightest new star in their Marine future. Since the 5 elders identified Garp as a Marine 4-star from that moment on. 0. For flowers. Advertisement. They didn't take Garp too much as an outsider. No. That's not what I'm about to say. Garp shook his head slightly. Oh, so what do you want to say about Garp? Kong pressed. Garp raised his head slightly, looked directly into Kong's eyes and said solemnly. I refuse to be Marine Admiral, what did you say? Kong's pupils shrank, staring at Garp in disbelief. You know, Marine Admiral is the highest position that countless Marine powerhouses dream of. This is a great honor. Throughout the Naval Headquarters, ask any Marine at random. Their dream must be to become Marine Admiral. The Admiral position placed in front of Garp today was rejected by him? Garp, were you foolishly beaten in the Valley of the Gods? Why did you refuse to be promoted to Marine Admiral? Sengoku also asked with a puzzled face. If you want to be free, you don't need such a high position. Garp smiled slightly. Once Garp is promoted to Admiral, he'll need to play directly with the Celestial Dragons. Garp is a member of the D-family, although not hostile to the Celestial Dragons. But in his heart, he still doesn't like Celestial Dragons. Besides, once promoted to Admiral, there are too many troubles. This is not what Garp wants to see. Garp, you idiot, what are you free? If you can't be an Admiral with your strength, wouldn't it be a pity? Sengoku cursed. Ha ha ha. Compared to being an Admiral, I think freedom is the most important thing. Garp scratched his head and laughed. Kong looked directly at Garp with his pupils, and spoke out after a few seconds of silence. Have you really made up your mind, Garp? Are you sure you want to decline the promotion to Admiral? Yes. Garp nodded without hesitation. I understand, I will report this news to the world government, but although you refuse to be promoted to Admiral, you can still go to the Holy Land Marijoy for training. Got it, Garp said. Kong didn't ask too much about the reason for Garp's refusal, and left the beggar directly after leaving this sentence. Chapter 171. The Lunalia clan who was named God after a while. With the end of the Battle of the Valley of the Gods, Marine also announced to the world the destruction of the Rox Pirate. And Marine also assigned the credit for Rox beheading to Garp. Because they want to respect a hero who kills Rox and deters pirates in the world. And Garp, like the original, has become the hero of Naval Headquarters. It has become the new world, an existence that has made countless pirates fearful. Certainly, with the destruction of the Rox group, there are also many pirate groups rising rapidly in this sea. Moreover, the strength of these pirates is not weak. The reason, during the Rox regiment period, they did not move. That's because the existence of the Rox group is booming, and there are not many pirate groups dare to show up in that period and draw attention to Chi-san-chi. But now, the Rox group has been destroyed, and these pirate groups have also paid the water one after another. Start your march into the New World. At this time, an island in New World. There are more than a dozen pirate battleships docked here. The configuration of the battleships is not low. Whether it is the structure of the ships or the quality of the cannons, they are all excellent. And the number of people on each battleship is quite large. And in the center of the island, there is a huge building. The building is luxurious and grand, standing tall in the center. At this time, the Golden Lion was sitting on the throne in the most central position of the main hall. Tap tap tap. At this moment, there was a sound of footsteps outside the hall. I saw several pirates with a high bounty from New World walked in. Captain Shiki, a dozen warships and personnel are all ready, said one of the pirates respectfully. These pirates were secretly recruited by Golden Lion when he was a leader of the Rox regiment. Advertisement. When the Rox were alive, the Golden Lion dared not let the Rox know of their existence. But now, with Rox dead, the Golden Lion no longer has to suppress his ambitions. Quickly gather all the secretly recruited manpower and ships since this period. Gia ha ha ha. Rox is dead. This sea has belonged to Laozi's world. 35 golden lions stood up and laughed wildly. Yes, in this new world now, Captain Shiki is the strongest being. With Captain Shiki here, in the future we will be able to become the masters of the sea. We pledge our allegiance to Captain Shiki to the death. Several pirates of His Highness boasted. You can start and grab all the Rox territory. The corner of Golden Lion's mouth raised slightly and ordered. You must know that the Rox group was once the strongest pirate group in the New World. In New World, occupied countless sites. Today, the Rox group disbanded and Rox died. The land that the Rox once occupied was now a borderless land. The first goal of the Golden Lion to create the Sky Pirates is those territories. Yes, Captain Shiki, on the other side, the Punk Hazard Experimental Base. This place is exactly where the world government uses for scientific research. In the center of the island, there is a huge laboratory. And somewhere in the lab, there is a huge prison cell. The man in the cell is none other than Kaido, the cadre of the former Rox group. At this time, he was being tied up by Wu Hua and imprisoned in a cage. Outside the cell, several men in experimental suits for the scientific army were staring at Kaido and talking about it. I didn't expect that Kaido, who was imprisoned by us in the laboratory for research, is now a well-known cadre of the Rox regiment, and he left the Valley of the Gods alive. However, in the end, it was not caught by the people from the world government for us to study. I heard that this guy not only has a special physique, but also seems to have eaten the magic beast devil fruit. It seems that the secret of this guy is enough for us to study for a while. When Kaido was young, he was the strongest soldier in the Vodka Kingdom. Finally betrayed by the country and wants to sell him to Marine. And Kaido also took advantage of that time to escape. Advertisement but Kaido escaped, still repeatedly arrested by the world government for research. It was not until Kaido joined the Rox regiment that the personnel of the world government gave up capturing Kaido and carried out experiments. However, with the end of the Valley of the Gods campaign, Kaido did not develop forces with Charlotte Linlin. Instead, he planned to develop his power by himself, which was also noticed by the people of the world government. Then Kaido was caught again and tied to this laboratory for research. As for the eudemons that Kaido eats, it was given by Charlotte Linlin. Charlotte Linlin's original intention was to cultivate Kaido. But unexpectedly, Kaido left without saying hello, and was caught by the world government. But try to be careful, because this guy, Kaido, is not the first time he has escaped from the research site of our world government. Escape. What a joke, this time the prison cell is different from the previous one. It is extremely solid. Even if he has joined the Rox group and his strength has been greatly enhanced, it is impossible for him to escape from this place. An experimenter shook his head slightly. Indeed, Kaido has escaped from their world government researchers several times. But this time, in order to target Kaido, they used a special cage and chains. In his opinion, no matter how strong Kaido is, it is absolutely impossible to escape this time. Boom! As the researcher's words fell, the cell shook violently, and I saw that Kaido had broken free from the chains and destroyed the cage. How? How is it possible? Seeing this scene, many researchers suddenly broke out in a cold sweat. You bastards are really obsessed with my body. Kaido snorted coldly as he looked at the people in front of him with a gloomy expression. Seeing Kaido come out of the cell, the group of researchers hurriedly fled. In this laboratory, there is a man wearing a black uniform, with white hair and black wings behind him, lying on a test bench, tied up with 5 flowers. Lunaria. No wonder the government won't let you go. I have seen all the durability experiments they conducted on you. I plan to leave here and create a new pirate group. What are you going to do, guinea pig? Do? Kaido stared at Jin with the mace on his shoulder. But Kaido would not let this group of people go. After beheading them all, he found his own mace. Run. Run. He is none other than the head of the 3 plagues of the future beasts pirates, Jin. It is precisely because of his extraordinary physique of 4.3 that he received such treatment. The reason why Kaido was caught by the world government for research. Then came to another laboratory. Chapter 172 The Great Voyage Age begins, seeking full order. The so-called Lunaria clan. A rare race that once lived at the top of the Red Line. The history of this race is even older than the founding of the Holy Land Marijoy. This race is known for their incredible physical toughness, and their unique bodies have been named gods. And Kaido, because he was locked in this place for a while, also met Jin. Jin raised his head slightly when he heard Kaido's voice. Can you change the world? Ha ha ha. Of course, I was born to change the world. Hearing Kaido's words, Jin fell into deep thought, although he did not speak. But there was a glimmer of hope in his eyes, and Kaido is no bullshit either. He directly cut off all the chains on Jin's body, and then gave Jin a handy weapon. At the same time, countless researchers found 2 people in this place. They're here, Quick! Stop them, don't let them leave this place. These two guys are both important figures in this experiment, we must stop them. The researchers and the guards all held weapons and charged towards Kaido and Jin. Want to stop them from leaving. The two formed a monster team at the 03 o'clock, and they fought their way out of the siege. Boom! With Kaido waving the mace in his hand, he knocked down the last blocked experimenter to the ground. Then he turned his head and looked at Jin behind him and asked, "What's your name?" "Abel. You are strong enough to call yourself king, stay in my shadow. I will not hand you over to anyone, from today you are my right hand. I will take you away this place." Kaido laughed. The two of them, with terrifying strength, destroyed the entire experimental base and escaped. Except of course Golden Lion and Kaido are developing their own forces. Whitebeard, Golden Lion, Charlotte Linlin, Ochaku, John, Silver Axe, are also madly grabbing territory in the New World to develop their own forces. Relying on the world-famous name, Whitebeard recruited a lot of pirates in a very short period of time and created the Whitebeard Pirates. And Charlotte Linlin, although did not recruit any crew, but she is relying on her own strength. And his children are constantly in the New World, laying down territories and developing forces. As for Ochaku, John, and Silver Axe, the three of them are naturally not to be outdone, and their power is rising fast. Since the dissolution of the Rox Regiment, almost all the surviving cadres have been developing their own forces. Except for one, and that was Air. Advertisement Air has absolutely no interest in creating a pirate group, developing forces or anything. Now he has only two things to do at sea. The first thing, of course, is to look for devil fruit. After all, now he has only 7 tails, and 8 tails has not been unlocked yet. As long as you can unlock the 7 tails, and the chakra power of the 8 tails, he can then proceed to unlock 10 tails, become a 10 tails Jinchuriki and get extremely powerful combat power. Air searched the sea for devil fruit for a long time. However, devil fruit is one of the great secrets of New World after all. It is not an easy thing to get devil fruit. Of course, Air has another thing to do besides finding the devil fruit. That is the progress of brushing the fairy eyes. Since the dissolution of the Rox group, the number of pirates in New World has grown tremendously. Countless pirates all showed up in New World and began to seize territory and develop power or something. In the New World, as soon as any pirate group encounters Air, they must be doomed. And Air, in the process of constantly beheading pirates and destroying the pirate group, also brushed the progress of a lot of fairy eyes. Air is also in the process of being bored, destroying the rocks, and finding the devil fruit. Suddenly a good idea came to mind, that is to open a pub. Of course, the purpose of opening a tavern is not to make money. Instead, he opened a tavern under the name of entrustment. Simply put, anyone in New World can ask Air for help. But want to entrust Air to help. Either offer precious treasures, or offer devil fruit. And Air does this for 2 reasons. One point is, the task that was entrusted must be to ask Air to destroy the enemy or something. This way, Air can swipe Sage Body's progress. Also, because delegation needs to give Air a benefit. Air can either get precious treasures or devil fruit. It's like saying, kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Time flies, and a long time has passed. The pub opened by Air is well known in the New World. Advertisement of course, the people who entrust Air to do things are all famous pirates in the sea. Ordinary pirates, let alone looking for Air to do business, can't even do it in a tavern close to Air. During this period, Air completely entrusted the task and got dozens of devil fruit. And countless precious treasures. At the same time, because Air's fame is extremely loud in New World. This makes countless people in New World follow Air. Although Air never thought about creating a pirate group and developing his own power. However, because of the fame there, New World has countless famous pirates, scrambling to follow Air. However, Air did not refuse to follow these people. Instead, because of the large number of followers, Air New World established an organization. The people who are specifically responsible for helping the New World fully entrust the task. Of course, Air got 91 points and the group of thugs got 10%. But, even so, there are a large number of pirates, and 753 joins the organization established by Air. After all, Air is the most powerful pirate in the world today. In the eyes of those pirates, as long as they can get along with Air, everything is worth it. New World, a certain country. This country, at this time, has been completely acquired by Air with financial resources. Air is equivalent to the king of this country. In the center of the country, there is an incomparably luxurious building. And this building is a tavern. There are a lot of people in the tavern. And in the tavern, no one pirate is less than 100 million Bailey. All of them are pirates with heads and faces from New World. Of course, they are also thugs under Air. At this time, Air was sitting at the front desk drinking. Inside was a devil fruit. Air nodded in satisfaction. When they were about to approach Air, the pirate stopped, bent down slightly and handed the treasure box to Air respectfully. "It's an honor to play for Lord Air, Kakaka, 99. Hearing Air's praise, a smile appeared on the corner of the pirate's mouth, and he respectfully said. There was a sound of the door opening behind him, and a pirate walked towards Air with a treasure chest. When Sheng Air turned around, took the treasure chest handed over by the pirates, and opened it. "Lord Air, this is a devil fruit I got from a mission that I completely commissioned recently." "Good job." Chapter 173 The Whitebeard Pirates Seat Meeting. After Air took over Devil Fruit, he opened the attribute panel. Host. Air Abilities. Armament Hockey, 2500 4000s, Observation Hockey, 2500 4000s, Conqueror's Hockey, Max. Special Ability. Sage Body, Max, Ability. Sword, Great Swordsman. Special Ability. Fairy Eye, 5000 7000s, Current Midterm, Unlocked Ability. Complete Body Susanoo, Tengai Shinsei, Shinra Tianzheng, Universal Pull. Note. When the progress is full, other abilities of the Sage's Eye will be unlocked, and a chance for a special lottery will be obtained. 9 Tails. Tailed Beast Bomb, Unlocked, Tailed Beast Transformation, Unlocked, Currently Full-Tailed Beast Transformation, Kurama Chakra Mode, Unlocked, Kurama Mode, Unlocked. 10 Tails, Unlocked. Need to unlock 1 to 8 tails of tailed beasts, you can unlock 10 tails. 8 Tails, Unlocked, Abilities Gained, Wood Style, Sage Mode. Warehouse. Experience card for increasing your own strength several times, 1 hour. As you can see, after such a long training, Air's Armament Color and Observation Hockey's progress have all reached 2500. At the same time, the new world is full of numerous commissioned quests. In the case of killing a large number of pirates and destroying countless pirate groups, Air's Fairy Eyes had already reached the midterm. It is only 2000 progress away from the later stage. And the Immortal Eye reached the midterm, and also obtained 2 abilities, that is, Shen Luo Tianzheng, Universal Pull. Shinra Sky is one of Rinnegan's most terrifying abilities. You can take yourself as the center and bounce everything around you. Whether it is a person or an attack, all of them can be ejected. As for Universal Pull, this ability is the exact opposite of Shinra Tenjung. Able to be self-centered and entangle the extremely terrifying attraction to the designated target. Of course, the intensity of attraction is also controlled by Air. Unleash the power of Universal Pull with Air's current strength. Can easily move a big mountain to attack. Of course Cactus reached the midterm. It's not just unlocking the 2 powers of Shinra Tianzheng and Universal Pull. At the same time, because the Fairy Eyes reached the middle stage, they got a chance to draw a special lottery. Advertisement and directly pulled out 3 things. To know when the Sage Body was unlocked. Every time you advance to a level, you can only get 1 item in the special lottery. But when I was promoted to Immortal Eye, I directly extracted 3 things at one time. Although, Air didn't know if he could get 3 things every time he was promoted to Immortal Eye. But no matter what, the starting progress of Cactus Eye is much higher than that of Sage Body. Then the special lottery draws, at the very least, 2 or 3 things. Of course, the things drawn by the special lottery times are naturally not ordinary. The first is Wood Style, which is a ninjutsu that can only be mastered by the inheritors of the bloodline boundary. It is also one of the strongest abilities of Senju Hashirama in the Hokage ninja world. Second is Sage Mode. If Sage Mode alone is used to evaluate, this ability is not very helpful to Air. But, don't forget, Air also has Wood Style. Wood Style with Sage Mode. Air can release Wood Style True Several Thousand Hands. Wood Style True Several Thousand Hands is Senju Hashirama's strongest ability, no one. The volume of this ability alone is even more magnificent than a stalwart mountain. In the Hokage ninja world, 9 tails, in front of this ability, are as small as ants. Back then, Senju Hashirama felt that 9 tails was too threatening. So release Wood Style True Several Thousand Hands and hold 9 tails directly with 1 hand. This also fully proves how terrifying the power of Wood Style True Several Thousand Hands is. The last thing left to draw is the experience card that increases the strength several times. As the name suggests, this experience card. In 1 hour, the strength of the male protagonist can be directly increased by an integer number. You must know that Air's strength is now one of the best in the world. If you use this experience card, there is no doubt that Air's strength will reach an extremely terrifying level. After roughly glancing at the attribute panel in front of him, Air entered the spiritual space of 9 tails. It can be seen that there are countless precious treasures in the spiritual space of 9 tails. Moreover, on a certain ground, there are more than 30 devil fruits. The reason why Air didn't use these 30 or so devil fruits to unlock the chakra of 8 tails. Advertisement. That's because, Air found, these devil fruits haven't reached the number of unlocked 8 tails. Originally, according to Air's guess, 9 devil fruits were needed to unlock 7 tails. If you unlock 8 tails, it stands to reason that 10 devil fruit is enough. But what Air didn't expect was when he collected 10 devil fruits. However, the system reminded him that the number of devil fruits was insufficient and could not be unlocked. Further, Air continues to collect devil fruit on the sea. So far, there have been more than 30, but still unable to unlock the chakra of 8 tails. Now even Air is a little confused, he doesn't know how many devil fruits he wants to get to unlock the chakra of the 8 tails, and thus fully unlock the power of the 10 tails. Become 10 tails Jinchuriki. Air glanced at 9 tails spiritual space, and then his consciousness returned to the tavern. Continue to sit at the front desk and drink, kakaka. At the same time, there was a sound of opening the door again. I saw a few pirates respectfully approaching Air. Lord Air, please meet the Whitebeard Pirates outside the island, 99. Whitebeard Pirates? Hearing this name, Air was slightly startled. In retrospect, it has been a long time since the Battle of the Valley of the Gods ended. And the Whitebeard Pirates, also, Zhao Lihao, during this period, became a famous big pirate group in New World. It can be said that, looking at the entire New World, the popularity of the Whitebeard Pirates. Even they would never see such a pirate group on weekdays. But, the name of the Whitebeard Pirates, Megatron World. Almost exclusively under the Roger Pirates. All of them are famous pirates of New World, with bounties up to hundreds of millions of Baileys. Many pirates in the tavern were shocked when they heard the request of the Whitebeard Pirates. Whitebeard Pirates. This is the strongest pirate group in the New World after the Roger Pirates, and Captain Edward Newgate has a bounty as high as 4.8 billion Baileys. The man word, 5. Lord Air, do you still know such men? Although, the pirates in the tavern. Idiot, Lord Air used to be on the same boat as Edward Newgate, how could he not recognize it? 35. Chapter 174 Hockey shocked the entire Whitebeard group. Whitebeard Pirates, do you have anything to do with me? Air asked after being silent for a few seconds. Air didn't believe that Whitebeard, who was on the road to New World smoothly, would be entrusted to find him. I don't know about Lord Air, we came to inform you as soon as they appeared. Pirate shook his head slightly. Really? Let them come over then. Air nodded, although not clear what Whitebeard asked him to do. However, Air still felt that meeting Whitebeard, after all, looking at the whole New World. The one who has a better relationship with Air is Whitebeard. Yes, Lord Air. After several pirates left these words, they left the tavern directly. After a while, caw, along with the door of the tavern, it opened again. I saw a man with a burly stature, open chest and belly, exuding a king's imposing manner all over his body, appeared at the door of the tavern. He is none other than the strongest man in the future New World in the original book, Whitebeard. Really him, Edward Newgate. I didn't expect that I could meet another legendary pirate of the sea besides Lord Air in this sea. 35. Sure enough, it's absolutely right that we hang out with Air-sama. Yeah, to follow Mr. I-753 although the reward is a little less, but at least we can gain a lot of knowledge, and our identity will shine in the sea, no one dares to provoke it. The moment Whitebeard appeared in the tavern, it directly attracted the attention of the entire tavern pirates. After all, Whitebeard, like Air, is a New World legend. The first time Whitebeard entered the tavern, he noticed Air who was sitting at the front desk drinking, and immediately laughed. Gu la la la. Long time no see, Air. Long time no see indeed, Edward. Air turned around and smiled. It has been a long time since we last met. Today's Whitebeard can be said to be a big change. In addition to the big change in appearance, there is a difference in momentum. Advertisement the kingly aura that Whitebeard exudes, even Air can feel no small threat. Air waved his hand slightly, signaling the people in the tavern to leave. The pirates in the tavern, seeing Air's gesture, quickly left the tavern. At this time, only the Whitebeard Pirates and Air were left in the tavern. Oh, Daddy, is he the man you always mention, Air? Behind Whitebeard, a handsome young man with yellow flower-like hair and a purple shirt glanced at Air and asked. He is the future Whitebeard Pirates, the captain of the first team, Marco. Although Marco joined the Whitebeard Pirates for a short time. But he was often on the boat and heard Whitebeard mention Air's name. Even though, because of the shock fruit, Whitebeard was defined by Marine as possessing the power to destroy the world. But Whitebeard was unusually disdainful of the title, having mentioned it several times on board. The one who really has the power to destroy the world should be Air. This guy looks like an ordinary person, he doesn't seem to be as powerful as you say, Dad. On the other side of Whitebeard, Joe stuck his head out and watched Air. Because of Air at this time, there was no trace of his aura. So from the perspective of others, he is just an ordinary man. Hearing Jose's rude words, Whitebeard frowned slightly and knocked Jose's head. Then he looked at Air and said solemnly, Air, this guy Jose is just a kid, I hope you don't take offense. Of course, why would I care about a child? Air said with a smile. Although it says so. But, being looked down upon makes Air decide to teach Jose a lesson. Air showed a slight hint of Conqueror's Haki, pressing down on Jose's body. Although there is only one point, this, added, force is still too terrifying for Jose now. I saw Jose's face turn pale instantly, his forehead was startled with dense cold sweat, his body was covered with hair, and the next second, his eyes turned white and fell down. Seeing that Jose fainted, Marco quickly helped him up and asked worriedly. Advertisement, Joe. Jose? 99. Seeing this scene, several pirates under Whitebeard's banner with a bounty of more than 1 billion Baileys all gasped. What a horrible Haki. 35. This guy, as expected, he's a monster. I heard that in the Valley of God War a long time ago, the monster Air, alone, defeated the top Vice Admiral Zephyr of Naval Headquarters, and then defeated the top Admiral Kong of Naval Headquarters. Since the end of the Battle of the Valley of the Gods, Air has been dubbed the title of the strongest pirate by the world government. Now it seems that it is indeed true. Air has long been a master of Conqueror's Haki's master. The Haki that was cast just now was just shrouded in Jose's body. Weak pirates can't feel the Haki released by Air. On the scene, there are only pirates with more than 1 billion Baileys and Whitebeard himself. Only then can we clearly understand how amazing the Haki released by Air just now is. Gu la la la. Air, you just gave us a slap in the face as soon as we met. Whitebeard laughed when he saw this scene. Whitebeard wasn't mad about Air's release of Conqueror's stun Jose. After all, Jose was rude first. In Whitebeard's view, this incident is also equivalent to giving Jose a lesson. Whitebeard wouldn't blame him too much for the rudeness of Jose's random words on the boat. But if he is outside, he is still not polite, even Whitebeard can't protect him. Well, it's a little over the top. Air shrugged a little helplessly. To be honest, he really didn't expect it. The future captain of the Whitebeard 3rd Division, Jose, would be so weak now. You know, Air has suppressed his Conqueror's power to a minimum. He just wanted to shock Jose, but he didn't expect to stun him directly. Dad, what's wrong with Yoja? Marco cried, holding back his tears. Don't worry, Marco, he was just knocked out, nothing serious. Whitebeard bent down slightly and patted Marco on the shoulder. A pirate with a bounty of over 1 billion Baileys standing next to Whitebeard. Commanded to a crew member, you take Jose back to the ship first, 99. Yes. The crew took orders and returned to the ship with Jose. Chapter 175 Cooperation with World Government. The remaining pirates present looked nervously at Air sitting at the front desk. Although, they were well aware that Whitebeard had some relationship with Air. However, Air's strength is really not bluffing, after feeling the Haki just now. Almost all the pirates on the boat were in a state of tension. Now, no one dares to talk nonsense, offending Air. But then again, Edward, what's the matter with me this time? Air threw a bottle of fine wine to Whitebeard, then asked. It's okay, can't I come to you? Whitebeard took the wine and smiled slightly. It seems that you came to me for small talk. That's fine. I haven't had a drink with you for a long time. Air had guessed that Whitebeard didn't come to him because he was in trouble. Now it seems that there is really no trouble, but just want to find him for a drink. Whitebeard sat next to Air. You guy, although you haven't created any pirate group, but your subordinates really don't have a simple character. On the coast of this country, there are many pirates with bounties of hundreds of millions of Baileys guarding them. And when I entered the tavern just now, Whitebeard still saw a lot of pirates in the sea with eyes and ears. Air said, though, that he created the commission agency, and did not recruit any pirates with bounties exceeding 1 billion Baileys. But there are many pirates under Air's banner with bounties of hundreds of millions of Baileys. Well, it's just a bunch of small characters, Air said calmly. A pirate with a bounty of hundreds of millions of Baileys is no easy role in this sea, Air. Whitebeard smiled. Even for the Whitebeard pirates, there are not many pirates on board with bounties exceeding 100 million. As for Air's subordinates, the pirates with a bounty of over 100 million in the tavern are almost equivalent to their Whitebeard pirates. Not to mention, there are the group of pirates who go out and trust the mission and guard the position of the port. In this sea, it's not really a small role, but for you and me, isn't it a simple role, Edward? Air said with a shrug. Whitebeard is now at the peak of his strength. Even if the pirates in the whole country with a bounty of over 100 million go together. In front of Whitebeard, it's not enough to look at all. Gu la la la. This is true, but then again, you recruited so many pirates, what are your plans in the future, Air? Advertisement Whitebeard asked, taking a gulp of wine. Although Air said at the end of the Battle of the Valley of the Gods that he did not have the idea of creating a pirate group. But now, with so many strong men under Air, Whitebeard wondered if Air was planning to make a move. No plans, just to let these people help me collect precious treasures and devil fruit, Air replied truthfully. He really didn't plan to do anything with these pirates. After all, the purpose of his establishment of the agency was to let these people work for him. You guy, you are so terrifying, and you recruit so many subordinates, but you are just doing such a boring job as entrusted. Whitebeard couldn't help joking. After all, there's nothing else I can do right now, Air shrugged. Becoming a commissioning agency, in Air's view, is also a boring move. However, this institution was established. He can fully entrust the task in person, and brush the progress of the fairy eye. Get precious treasures, or devil fruit or something. You can also ask your thugs to help him fully entrust tasks and get rewards or something. It's boring, but it's really profitable. Forget it, without discussing so much, let us too have a good drink. Whitebeard raised the glass in his hand and smiled. The main purpose of his visit today was to drink with Air. I don't want to ask boring questions. Air and Whitebeard, drinking and chatting. The other members of the Whitebeard group also took their seats, drinking and watching Air and Whitebeard. And when they discussed it for a while, Air and Whitebeard's observation hockey. At the same time, I felt a dangerous aura, and I was approaching the tavern. Who? Air raised his brows slightly and looked towards the entrance of the tavern. Caw. With the door slowly opened, I saw a few men with masks and world government costumes appearing at the entrance of the tavern. 0. Ask for Flowers advertisement. They are none other than members of the world government CPO organization. It can be seen that many members of the CPO organization are holding treasure boxes in their arms. As for what's inside, Air doesn't know either. Anyone from the world government. Air's eyes bloomed with killing intent, staring at a few people, and said coldly. Air felt that these guys were not ordinary characters. Otherwise, how could it be possible to bypass the many pirates at the port with a bounty of hundreds of millions of Baileys? Don't be nervous, Air. We are not here to trouble you, but the world government sent us here to discuss a business with you. The leading CPO member said calmly. Talking about cooperation? Are you kidding me? Air said solemnly. You know, Air's current bounty is 4.75 billion Bailey. As a big pirate of this level, he has long been a complete enemy with Marine and the world government. Now, people from the CPO organization are suddenly offended and say they want to discuss cooperation with him. Air's first reaction was that there was a fraud. We came here with enough sincerity. As the words of the members of the CPO organization fell, there were several people behind him. Directly open the treasure chest in your hand, and there is a devil fruit inside. There are 10 in total. The members hadn't waited for Air to say anything. He walked directly to Air and placed the box containing 10 devil fruits in front of Air. Can you unlock 8 tails? Air was startled when he heard this voice. Now he can unlock the chakra of 8 tails, and then unlock 10 tails. But the people who accompanied the CPO organization brought him 10 devil fruits. These 10 devil fruits are deposits. If the business with us is completed, then we will pay you more devil fruits. Are you interested and continue to talk with us, Air? At the same time, in Air's mind, a sound from the system came. But still not enough to unlock the power of 8 tails chakra. Ding! Detected enough devil fruit nearby. Should the host be used to unlock the chakra power of 8 tails? In the ocean, he searched for devil fruit for so long, and found more than 30. Become 10 tails Jinchuriki. Chapter 176. Unlock 10 tails and become 10 tails Jinchuriki. The world government has long since investigated the purpose of Air's establishment of this agency, which is precisely to get devil fruit. Although they didn't know why Air wanted to collect so many devil fruits. But after negotiations with the 5 elders, they decided to do a business with Air in return for devil fruit. Looking at the 10 devil fruits in front of him, Air smiled slightly. Not interested in the reason why Air collects devil fruit in the sea for so long. The purpose is to unlock the chakra power of the 8 tails, which in turn fully unlocks the 10 tails. Become 10 tails Jinchuriki. But now, the 10 devil fruits in front of him, plus the devil fruits in his 9 tails spiritual space. The number of devil fruit is enough to unlock 8 tails. In other words, Air no longer needs devil fruit at all. Why does he need to talk about business with the world, July 53 inches world government? Gu la la la. Wise choice, Air. These guys are clearly plotting. Whitebeard laughed after hearing this answer. Are you sure you want to refuse to cooperate with us, Air? A member of the CPO organization said solemnly. Not only do I have to refuse, but you can't take the 10 devil fruits left here. Air smiled slightly. I have to say, world government is really a gift boy. Air has been searching for devil fruit for so many years, but still has not reached the permission to unlock 8 tails. Now, the world government has given him enough devil fruit right away. Whitebeard held the Kong cloud cut and said with a sneer at the corner of his mouth. Since you are here today, don't even think about leaving alive. Whitebeard is one of the best pirates in the New World. In recent years, he has encountered a lot of pursuit by world government powerhouses. Now, negotiations between members of the CPO group and Air have broken down. Then there is really no need to let them leave alive. Falling with Whitebeard's voice, the pirates of the Whitebeard Pirates directly blocked the way of the members of the CPO organization, and the two sides started a direct battle. Air, on the other hand, was not involved in the fight. Instead, it was placed on the 10 devil fruits in front of him. Ding! It is detected that the host has enough devil fruit to unlock 8 tails. Do you need 45 devil fruit to unlock it? 99. Advertisement. The sound of the system entered Air's mind again. Sure. Air said without hesitation. He is too lazy to complain now. Why unlocking 8 tails consumes so much devil fruit. Now he just wants to get the power of 10 tails and become 10 tails Jinchuriki. Ding! Congratulations host, consume 45 devil fruits to unlock 8 tails. Ding! Congratulations host, unlock 1 to 9 tails chakra power, 10 tails to unlock, 55. Then, the system panel appeared in front of Air's eyes. Host. Air abilities. Armament hockey, 2500 4000s, observation hockey, 2500 4000s, conqueror's hockey, max. Special ability. Sage body, max, ability. Sword, great swordsman. Special ability. Fairy eye, 5000 7000s, current midterm, unlocked ability. Complete body Susanoo, Tengai Shinsei, Shinra Tianzheng, universal pull. Note. When the progress is full, other abilities of the Sage's Eye will be unlocked, and a chance for a special lottery will be obtained. 9 tails. Tailed Beast Bomb, unlocked, Tailed Beast Transformation, unlocked, currently full Tailed Beast Transformation. Kurama Chakra Mode, unlocked, Kurama Mode, unlocked. 10 tails. 10 tails Jinchuriki, to unlock, abilities gained. Wood Style, Sage Mode. Warehouse. Experience card for increasing your own strength several times, 1 hour. Seeing the 10 tails unlocked on the attribute panel, the corners of Air's mouth rose unconsciously. But in the next second, the sound of the system came. Ding! The system prompts that the host's Fairy Eyes ability is low and cannot fully master 10 tails. Ding! The system prompts, host's Celestial Eye ability is low, unable to fully release the power of 10 tails, 35. Unable to fully master 10 tails? Hearing the system's beep, Air was slightly startled. But in the next second, Air thought. There are 2 key strengths described in the original to become 10 tails Jinchuriki. One is Sage Body, and the other is Cactus Eye. The strength of the Sage Body lies in its ability to completely seal the power of 10 tails within the body. The power of the Immortal Eye depends on whether it can completely master the power of the Master 10 tails. Now Air's Sage Body has reached the full level of 0. Advertisement. It is easy to completely seal the power of 10 tails in the body. But because the current Fairy Eye is only in the middle stage, it is impossible to achieve a complete Master 10 tails. The system prompts that although the host can use the power of 10 tails and become a 10 tails Jinchuriki, it is not a complete body state, and it cannot be used for too long. If it is used for a long time, it will be counterattacked by the power of 10 tails. Only the host can fully control the 10 tails and unleash the power of the 10 tails only when the ability of the Immortal Eye has reached an advanced level. The sound of the system entered Air's mind again. The meaning of the system is simple. That is, Air can now indeed use the power of 10 tails and become 10 tails Jinchuriki. But it can only be used for a short time. If it is long, it will be counterattacked by 10 tails. But even for a short time, that's enough for Air. After all, being a 10 tails Jinchuriki has the power to destroy the world. Ding! Congratulations on the successful unlocking of all the abilities of the host panel. Ding! Congratulations host, the mall is unlocked. At the same time, the sound of the system came again. Mall. Hearing the sound of the system, Air was slightly startled. Then I noticed that in the upper right corner of the property panel, there was a logo of the mall. When Air opened it, he found that there was only one thing for sale inside. That is the ability promotion card. The function of the ability promotion card can be used to promote Air's Conqueror's Hockey 4.3. That year before the Battle of the Valley of the Gods began, Air used the power of the ability promotion card to promote Conqueror's Hockey to the full level. Now, after so long, Air's armament and observation hockey still haven't reached full level. On the one hand, Air is slack in training, has been brushing the progress of the Fairy Eyes, and looking for devil fruit. On the other hand, hockey training is extremely difficult. 12 devil fruit? Air noticed that the price of one ability promotion card is actually 12 devil fruit. The number of devil fruit is not low. When Air was trying to figure out the mall, he suddenly noticed it. In the mall, next to the selling price of the ability promotion card, there's an empty box with a few words on it. Random ability. What is this? Chapter 177 Conversation with the Five Elders. The system prompts that the mall will sometimes randomly refresh abilities and items from the heavens and the world, which can be purchased from Devil Fruit. Although now in the mall, only one item of ability promotion card is sold. But sometimes, new commodities will be refreshed, that is, the ability from the heavens and the world. How often does it refresh? Air pressed. However, in the face of Air's questioning, the system was silent. Although the system did not respond to this inquiry. But if it is not expected, the random ability goods in this mall. At least once a few months, as many as once a few years. How long it will take, Air doesn't know. Air glanced at the properties panel, thought about it, and then closed it. Then he looked around. It can be seen that the battle between the Whitebeard Pirates and the members of the CPO organization has demolished his entire tavern. And looking around, the area with a radius of 100 meters has still become a ruin. However, Air is not distressed about this, after all, the whole country belongs to him. Whatever Whitebeard they do. Air set his sights on the members of the 03 CPO organization who were being hanged by the Whitebeard group. Originally, Air was not interested in discussing cooperation with the world government. But now, with the launch of this page in the mall, Air is once again scarce Devil Fruit. Stop, Whitebeard. Air stopped aloud. He now has the idea of continuing to discuss cooperative business with the world government. Naturally, Whitebeard and the others could not be allowed to kill this group of people. Gu la la la. I'm so sorry Air for messing up your kingdom a bit. Hearing Air's words, Whitebeard scratched his head and smiled. Well, remember to compensate me later, Edward, Air said calmly. You guys are really embarrassing me, where do I get the money? Whitebeard spread his hands with an air of bare feet not afraid to wear shoes. Although, Whitebeard had amassed untold wealth during his time in the rocks. However, most of the money was donated to his hometown. With the rest of the money, he built the Moby D*K. Advertisement right now, Whitebeard really doesn't have much money. Then wait for it later. As Air spoke, he came to the members of the CPO organization. It can be seen that several CPO members originally came to this country. But now only the leading CPO member is still alive, and the rest were directly killed by Whitebeard and others. If I discuss cooperation with your world government, how much devil fruit can I harvest? Air asked. Before asking this sentence, you ask them to stop first. The CPO member lay on the ground and said weakly. Him at this time. He was being beaten in turn by many members of the Whitebeard regiment, covered in blood, and was dying. Okay you guys, don't destroy my country anymore, Air said to stop. Hearing Air's words, the red-eyed people from the Whitebeard group dispersed. Then continue with the question just now and answer me. Our world government has enough financial resources to pay for your devil fruit, so the number of devil fruit is only a lot more. As soon as the world government met, they directly gave Air 10 devil fruits. This also fully shows how terrible the financial resources of the world government are. So what's the content of the collaboration? Air pressed. The content of the cooperation was proposed by the five elders, I don't know. They were simply ordered by the five elders to come to this place and invite Air to talk about business. As for the specific business content, they really do not know. However, if he was given another chance, he would never come to execute this order. After all, he was directly beaten to death. Then get the five elders' phone bug, Air said lightly. Although he didn't know what the five elders had come to do business with. At the same time, he is not interested in the so-called business. But he was very interested in devil fruit. The world government just met him and directly gave him 10 devil fruits. If he completes the business with the world government, wouldn't he be able to get more? There is a possibility that the phone bug could be tapped. I need to invite you to the Holy Land Marijoy to speak to Lord Five Elders in person. Hearing this, before Air could speak, Whitebeard said coldly. Did you still reveal your purpose? Where is the Holy Land Marijoy? That place is the base of the world government. Advertisement the strong are like clouds, and there are monsters like the five elders. Whitebeard knew how strong the five elders were. Back then, when the Rox group had not disbanded. Several of them were ordered to go to the holy site of Marijoy. When taking the pointer of the Valley of the Gods, I met a five elders. At the time, Whitebeard, Golden Lion, Charlotte Linlin, Kaido, 4 teamed up against a five elders. It's just a matter of having the upper hand. The strength of a five elders is so powerful. When the five elders join forces, it's even more unthinkable. In Whitebeard's view, sending Air to the Holy Land Marijoy was a trap set by the five elders. If Air really listened to the words of the CPO members in front of him, he would go to the Holy Land Marijoy. Then what awaits him? 753. There is a high probability of death. No. Don't think too much, we just want to do business with Mr. Air. The CPO member vomited blood and stood up with difficulty. What, almost got killed? Now he really wants to rant. Why did Air disagree with this cooperation at first? But when he was about to be beaten to death, he proposed to discuss cooperation with their world government. However, he would definitely not dare to say these words, because there is a possibility of death. Do you think you believe your words? Whitebeard snorted coldly. For the CPO members, Whitebeard would never believe it. However, at this time, Air did say calmly, take me there. Holy Land Marijoy, though unusually dangerous, but Air was fearless. Because, now Air's fairy eyes have reached the middle stage. Obtained Shinra Sky, Universal Pull, Wood Style, Sage Mode. And the experience card that can help Air the most and greatly increase the strength of several times. With these things, Air doesn't say he can defeat the 5 elders, but wants to run away from them. He thought he could still do it. Chapter 178 Garp and others under the guidance of the 5 elders. What's more, Air also has a very strong hole card, that is the power of 10 tails. Although, the current Air, because the fairy eye is only mid-term. Unable to fully master the power of 10 tails, there is even a risk of being attacked by 10 tails and falling into a rampage. But, controlling 10 tails for a short period of time, Air can still do it. With these strengths, as well as trump cards, Air can do it perfectly in the Holy Land Marijoy. Hearing Air's voice, Whitebeard asked with a puzzled face and a little worried at the same time. Air, do you really have to believe this guy, go to Holy Land Marijoy? Don't worry, it's okay to go there. Even if I encounter danger, I have the ability to come back alive, Air said calmly. The wise choice of Air, to cooperate with our world government is definitely the most correct decision you have ever made in your life, said the CPO member. Stop talking nonsense, take me there, Air said lightly. Although, Air is now a thug in the country as well. As long as you complete the mission, you can sometimes get devil fruit. But, no. Air and this group of thugs took a long time to get these devil fruits. Air doesn't have much patience, collecting devil fruit one by one. If he can get more directly, then Air is not afraid even if it is a little risky. After all, he has a lot of trump cards, so he really isn't afraid of the world government. If that's the case, I'll go with you too, Air, Whitebeard said after a moment of silence. Hearing Whitebeard's words, Air was slightly startled. Some unexpectedly stared at Whitebeard for a few seconds and then said, it's my own business, Edward, and you don't have to come along. Gu la la la. This should be regarded as my compensation for destroying your country, 35 Whitebeard laughed. Although he said so, in fact, Whitebeard was a little worried about Air. So I decided to go with it. Remember, Air is Whitebeard's first friend since becoming a pirate. Since Whitebeard founded the pirates, he has paid special attention to his friends and family. The Whitebeard in the original book, in order to save Ace, directly led the entire Whitebeard regiment to naval headquarters. Advertisement. This also fully proves that Whitebeard is extremely affectionate. Dad, let's go too. Hearing that Whitebeard was going to the Holy Land Marijoy, Marco echoed. If you want to go, take us with you, Dad. Yeah, the Holy Land Marijoy is very dangerous. If you go alone, it will be dangerous. Let's go together, Dad. Whitebeard shook his head slightly. No, just stay here, 99. Whitebeard is particularly aware of how dangerous that place in Marijoy is. This time, he was only going to follow Air alone. Not planning to go with the rest of the crew. Dad, 35. The members of the Whitebeard group, although they wanted to say something, were interrupted by Whitebeard. Listen to my words and stay here, after all. I just follow Air to discuss cooperation with the world government, and I won't encounter any danger. But, okay, you guys, are you worried about my strength? Whitebeard said solemnly. Hear Whitebeard say so. The members of the Whitebeard regiment looked at each other and had no choice but to give up, and did not continue to say anything. After all, they are also very aware of Whitebeard's temper once a decision is made. That is something no one can stop and persuade. Are you sure you want to come with me, Edward? If you are really in danger, I can't take care of you. Air glanced at Whitebeard and said seriously. Even then, in the Holy Land Marijoy, the partnership with the 5 elders failed. Air himself has great confidence to leave from that place. But, if Whitebeard goes with him, he can't take Whitebeard into consideration. Air, you kid, you still look down on my strength, Whitebeard smiled calmly. You must know that Whitebeard's current combat power is one of the best in the entire New World. Whitebeard though knew the 5 elders were dangerous. But, I really don't think I'm not an opponent now. Okay then. Air nodded. A few days later, top of Red Line. Advertisement. The territory of the Red Line is extremely extensive, and the central bustling area is called the Holy Land Marijoy. However, more places are barren and desolate, and somewhere in the Badlands of the Red Line, a battle is taking place. And the people who fought were Garp and Zephyr. Boom! With a deafening sound, Garp's fist collided with Zephyr's. The surrounding ground plane was broken inch by inch, and a terrifying aura emerged from the two of them. After the two attacked each other for a while, they each went backwards. Garp shrugged and laughed. Ha ha ha. The power of your fists has become much stronger, Zephyr. But compared to you, it's still a bit worse, Garp. Zephyr spread his hands. Although, today's Zephyr is the Admiral of Naval Headquarters. And Garp is now just a Vice Admiral for refusing to be promoted to Admiral. But during this period of training, Zephyr also clearly felt it. There is still some gap between his own strength and Garp. You two guys started touting each other again, Sengoku complained aside. However, the increase in the strength of Garp and Zephyr is also visible to the naked eye. Zhao Lihao. He folded his arms in front of his chest and smiled slightly. Garp, Zephyr, Crane, Sengoku, why are they here? That's because, since the Battle of the Valley of the Gods ended, their Marines are far less powerful than the New World Pirates. These four were hailed as Marine 4 stars when they first joined Marine. Compared to the time of the Battle of the Valley of the Gods, the strength of the four of them is many times stronger. Therefore, the world government also directly made the decision to stop New World Pirates. Increase Marine's power. Today, he is trained under the guidance of 5 elders. Let the pirates of the New World kill each other, and then Marine starts a world conscription to recruit the strong. This fully proves how terrifying the talent of this group of people is. At the same time, also let Garp, Zephyr, Sengoku, Crane 4 people. All came to the Holy Land Marijoy to receive training under the personal guidance of the 5 elders. Chapter 179 Air negotiates with the 5 elders standing not far away. The 5 elders, who had their hands on their backs and watched everything in front of them, smiled slightly. Yes, the strength of the few of you has become much stronger. Then when can we leave this place? I can't wait to go out to sea to catch those D pirates. Garp shook his wrist excitedly. Since the end of the Valley of the Gods campaign, Garp and others have been staying in the Holy Land Marijoy, receiving training from the 5 elders. Almost never leave this place. Today, Garp also clearly feels that his strength is not what it used to be. Now, he really wants to go out to sea to catch pirates. That guy Air, next time we meet, I must defeat him personally, Zephyr clenched his fists and said. Since the end of the Battle of the Valley of the Gods, Zephyr is determined to defeat Air. And in the Holy Land of Marijoy, Zephyr has not let up a day during such a long training. Just so that one day, I can defeat Air myself. I didn't kill Whitebeard last time, next time. I will definitely do it. Sengoku couldn't wait to go out to sea. Your strength is indeed not weak, but now is not the time to leave. The 5 elders shook their heads slightly. I have to say that Garp et al. 753 are really talented. After training with their 5 elders in person, the strength of Garp and others is growing so fast that even they're a little surprised. But it's still not the time to let Garp and the others go. Then how long are we going to stay in this place? Sengoku asked after hearing the words. This kind of thing, we don't know, it depends on Lord Yimu. The 5 elders shook their heads slightly. The talent of Garp and others, as well as the strength, even Imam has a slight interest. And gave orders for the 5 elders to carefully guide several people to train. As for when a few people will go to sea, it still needs her consent. Is it Im? Hearing this name, Garp and the others all looked at each other. They were in the holy place of Marijoy, although the name of Im had been heard many times. But none of the 4 had seen Im in person. Don't worry, with your current strength, it won't be long before Lord Yimu agrees to let you go to sea. 35. Advertisement. Looks like we have to work harder. Garp clenched his fists and said. You guys should just train here, added. First, I still have a few things to deal with. After leaving these words, the 5 elders turned and left. Garp and others also continued to train. Meanwhile, at the very bottom of the red line, Whitebeard, Air, and the people from the CPO organization have successfully reached this place. This is our second time here, Air. Looking at the unusually familiar red wall in front of him, Whitebeard couldn't help sighing. But last time I came with Shiki's group of guys, this time it's just the 2 of us. Air smiled slightly. Last visit to Holy Land Marijoy. Air, Whitebeard, Golden Lion, Charlotte Linlin, Kaido came together. But last time, they could only sneak up at night. But this time, they can go up straight. G-u-la-la-la. Then again, I haven't seen Shiki this B**************** D for a long time. Whitebeard laughed. Although it is said that Golden Lion has been developing continuously in New World over the years, expanding its power and seizing territory. But the New World is extremely vast after all. Whitebeard since the end of the Valley of the Gods battle. Never saw the Golden Lion again. Shikigai, I'm afraid he's been sitting and preparing to dominate the world all this time. Dominate the world? That Shikigai is just as delusional as ever. Whitebeard couldn't help joking. Back then, Rox, who dominated the entire sea with absolute strength, failed to dominate the world in the end. Whitebeard couldn't believe that the mere Golden Lion could do such a thing. During Whitebeard's conversation with Air, the two also took the elevator to the Holy Land Marijoy. After a while, the two set foot on the Holy Land of Marijoy again. It can be seen that the Holy Land Marijoy is still as prosperous as ever. Although it was said that Air and others had done a great deal of damage in this place. However, the people of world government have completely repaired it as early as this time. While Whitebeard and Air looked around, several senior officials of the world government came to the front of several people and said, "Mr. Air, you are finally here. Advertisement, next, let us take you to meet Lord Five Elders." Several people were not surprised that Whitebeard also appeared here. Because of the CPO member next to Air and the information reported to the world government. Air nodded slightly, followed by these senior officials of the world government. Then take Air and Whitebeard to the center of the Holy Land Marijoy, the ancient city of Pan. On the way, Air and Whitebeard did not see a single celestial dragons, and the streets were empty. No surprises from Air. It should be that the world government is afraid that celestial dragons will say something bad after seeing Air. Ushered in the calamity of death, and let this cooperation break down. A few people went straight to the door of Pan Ancient City. A senior world government turned around and said respectfully, "Mr. Air, the Five Elders will be waiting for you in the most central room inside the door. Then you can go over in person. We are not qualified to participate in this business cooperation." "I see." Air nodded. Kakaka. Several high-level executives slowly pushed open the door in front of them. In front of Air's eyes is a luxurious corridor that stretches beyond the horizon. Air stepped in without any hesitation. Whitebeard hesitated for a while, glanced at several high-level executives around him, and then stepped in. Whitebeard came behind Air, glanced at the slowly closing door behind him, and said solemnly. So Air at this time is not panic at all. Air, the strength of the Five Elders monsters, I believe you are well aware of this time. We need to be very careful. Of course I know this kind of thing, but if there is a real fight then, don't blame me for not reminding you. I can't control you, it's still too late for Edward to leave now. 39 Air said calmly. Of course, even if the cooperation is not achieved, Air is sure to escape. He can only take care of himself, Whitebeard's safety, he can't care too much. Air will get a lot of devil fruit if the partnership with the Five Elders happens. So a word of reminder, when stepping into this corridor, Whitebeard had a bad feeling. But still the same. Chapter 180 They are my dear friends and relatives, they have to pay more. Gu la la la. Are you worried about me, kid? Whitebeard laughed. Don't think too much about Edward, I just think you get along well. If you die, this sea will be less fun. The whole new world, only Whitebeard, made Air feel comfortable. If this man dies in this sea, then the future will indeed be much less fun. At the same time, not many people can sit and drink with Air. Even if I were in danger, I wouldn't die in a place like this, Whitebeard said calmly. He believes that now his own strength is not inferior to anyone on this sea. The Holy Land Marijoy is certainly dangerous, but, if he wants to go, he thinks he can do it. Air didn't say anything more after hearing the words, and the two of them walked all the way to the end of the corridor. It can be seen that at the end of the corridor, there is a door, and two soldiers in armor are standing at the door. Just as Air and Whitebeard were about to open the door and walk in, the two soldiers stopped Whitebeard directly. This time Lord Five Elders is going to see only Air, so just wait at the door. 35. Hearing this, Whitebeard frowned slightly, but didn't say much. He didn't want to make trouble in such a place. After stopping Whitebeard, the two soldiers also pushed open the door in front of them. Air also collapsed in. As soon as he entered the room, Air noticed that Five Elders were sitting on the sofa, watching him. You're finally here, Air. You made an exceptionally right decision, Air. Your presence shows that you are interested in the cooperation between us. It seems that we will become good business partners during this period. 35. As long as we cooperate with our world government, no matter how many devil fruits there are, we can take them out. Several Five Elders, seeing Air appearing in the hall, opened their mouths one after another. There is no need to say nonsense, let's talk about the content of the cooperation directly. Air glanced at a few Five Elders, then sat directly on a sofa and said. To this day, Air still doesn't know exactly what the Five Elders are talking about with him. Since you're so impatient, then we won't say polite words, we should go straight to the topic. The old man with a scar on his head said lightly. I believe you are also well aware of Air. The forces between the New World Pirates and Marine are currently unbalanced, and the cooperation we want to discuss with you today is to restore the balance of the New World forces. 55. Advertisement. There are too many pirates in the New World today. Whitebeard, Golden Lion, Charlotte Linlin, Kaido, John, Silver Axe, Ochaku, Burndy Wald, Green Pepper, Roger, Rayleigh, Jabba, Red Earl, etc. all have great fighting power. And as for Marine, only Garp, Sengoku, Zephyr, Crane, Kong and others belong to the top combat power. It can be said that the pirate forces almost completely crushed the forces on Marine's side. Fortunately, the pirates of New World did not gather together to besiege Marine. After all, they are all kings of their own. Most of the pirates are delusional to dominate the world. How exactly? Air asked. Our world government has the ability to master the whereabouts of any big pirate in the New World, and we will provide you with information and help. Let us work together to kill the big pirates in the New World and restore the balance of the sea. 39. Of course. We will give you rich rewards for every New World pirate you kill. Meanwhile, when the sea returns to calm, you can become the emperor of the New World. The old man in a black suit sat on the sofa and looked at Erlang's legs. Today, Marine's top combat power, Garp, Sengoku, Zephyr, Crane and others are all trained in the Holy Land Marijoy. Temporarily unable to go to sea, it can be said that the current Marine can't do anything about the big pirates of the New World. Likewise, their group of 5 elders, because of the order of Lord Yimu, he couldn't go out to sea directly to hunt down those pirates. Therefore, they set the goal of cooperation on the monster Air. They believe, with the assistance of their world government, Air will be able to get rid of the big pirates in New World one by one. Who exactly are you going to kill? Air demanded. The big pirates of the New World are all targets between us. Let's start with John. John? Don't be kidding. John and I are dear friends and relatives. After all, we have been on the same boat for a long time. You ask me to kill them? Oh, people like you who value interests, do you still care about this? The 35 knife-wielding old man sneered. Don't think of me too cold-blooded and ruthless. I have a very good relationship with this guy John. If you want me to kill him, at least, the reward will be doubled. 0. Ask for flowers. John, this guy, Air, wanted to kill him a long time ago. Advertisement. After all, at the Battle of the Valley of the Gods, if it wasn't for the Golden Lion and others blocking it. At that time, he was probably killed by John, Ochaku, Silver Axe and others. Over the years, Air has also been searching for traces of John and others. However, the area of New World is extremely wide after all, and Air will focus on entrusting tasks. So, didn't spend much time looking for John at all. This also allowed John and the group of guys to survive until now. Now, the 5 elders have offered to let Air kill John and get a handsome reward. Such a good thing. Air naturally has to extort money. You guy, really is a man who values interests, but, we agreed. The blonde old man nodded. Clap. The words fell, the blonde old man clapped his palms, and then several soldiers walked in from the other entrance. In their arms, they held boxes of treasure chests, placed them in front of Air, and then opened them. There are 10 devil fruits in front of Air. The 10 devil fruits I gave you earlier were for the purpose of establishing a friendly relationship between us. Now these 10 devil fruits are deposits. As long as you can kill John, then we will pay you more devil fruit, of course. You want other things, we can still give them. 99. The blonde old man continued. It seems that it was the right decision to cooperate with you. Air smiled slightly. Sure, it's profitable for both of us, isn't it? Although, in the entire New World, they're the man the 5 elders most want to kill. Definitely Air. After all of them know very well how terrifying Air's talent and strength are. Now, here's what they did with Air. A few of them thought they were 100% sure of taking Air. But, they're not going to do that. After all, in their eyes, Air is a man who can only be driven by profit. Because if it wasn't, how could Air create a commission in New World? Now they want to use Air to gradually get rid of the big pirates of the New World. It's not too late to attack Air again.